How about that Labor Day show that was on Labor Day Tuesday? For you night owls, you got the benefit of an amazing show. And for those of you that just happened to see it on Tuesday, you got an amazing show. Not until Wednesday, you still had an amazing show. One of the highest number of items shown, one of the longest shows we've ever done, and put together by a team of guys that just refused to go to the restroom. We just all the way through. 3 of us, and yep, how about that? It worked out great. Welcome to Gem Collector's Show with Shawn. I am Shawn, and if you liked last week's show, you're going to love today's show. More of the same. We may not get to quite as many, but let's get started on the comments. We have a trivia winner, so we'll do that and then start a great show. And I actually think the trivia gift today to the winner is going to be one of those. It's going to create a little trivia envy just because you have to wait and see. Okay, let's go. Let's get started. Not wasting any time, especially after I saw how well it worked last week. Don't change a thing. Miss Jan starts off. Hi, Shawn. Just wanted to let you know that I got my package the other day. Thank you. Still looking at the moonstones and don't really see much of the blue, but I do see the adulorescence. Love the opals, too. Thank you. Can't wait to see you on Monday. Miss Jan. Yes, those were, of course, the Georgia moonstones. And if you noticed, when I was featuring and showcasing those, you have, if you're looking for blue, well, it's really the wrong source for blue. If you're looking for peach, well, leave it to the peach state, of course, is going to have peach moonstone, and that was some beautiful peach-colored moonstones that are in the material you can find in Georgia. Also, some of that beautiful gray smoky material, that wonderful gray as well, and then, of course, the smoky gray, and then you have the nice white. But, of course, blue is associated with rainbow moonstone, and once you attach that word rainbow moonstone, even though I've never seen a rainbow with just blue in it. To me, for it to be true rainbow, and kind of what a stickler I am, it should be at least 2 colors. Blue and yellow is what you'll see next for the 2 common colors. And that gives a rainbow. Other than that, I call it like blue sheen or blue moonstone. That isn't found, basically, unless you have a really unusual piece for Georgia. So if you see some of that, it's good. Especially those that go to the tourist panning operations, which of course I'm very familiar with in so many different ways. But we, from the rock shop, we used to get in literally the burlap sacks of the Indian moonstone, and it is of course used to salt now, still currently, so many other of these gem buckets that you get at these pannings or roadside mining attractions. And you'll get even in some of the, maybe a little bit fractured up and whatnot, but you can get some blue sheen moonstone in some of the kind of commercial run material that you can buy. But of course, if you're looking for any kind of nicer, even just the blue, translucent to transparent type of quality, then you're not going to find it in a burlap sack or a gemstone bucket at a roadside attraction. It's going to be cut. It's going to be, anymore. I've seen just the blue going for crazy kind of numbers. But if you want a genuine Georgia moonstone, well, you got it there, Miss Jan. And if you find a piece with some of the wonderful blue in it, I want it back. Okay, next we have Miss Barbara saying, but I do appreciate you getting, though, some of the Georgia moonstone nevertheless. I'm going to have to make another trip down a country road to go mining some more. Miss Barbara says, suddenly cooler, breezy, and drier here this morning, too. Glorious weather that sends the mosquitoes scurrying back under the leaves, and from what I understand, it seems that up north, New England seems to have a bigger mosquito problem than down here. And at least ours can only carry you off. They won't kill you. So Wow, that's some serious mosquitoes you guys got up there. Reminds me back in the day when we lived in DeSoto Road in Sarasota growing up. Our driveway was long, so we would actually have the mosquito truck, the fogging truck, and it would come down our driveway because us kids would be in the middle of the night when they do it, 2 or 3 in the morning, and we'd hear it, especially as we got older, more sensitive to noise. It is like parents creeping around. So, and they literally sprayed this fog. Now remember, this is in from the late 1960s to the mid 70s, and now I really wonder what was in that fog. That's when DDT was still being used. It was very effective, but created all kinds of problems and still suffering from them to this day. So mosquitoes were a big deal then, and obviously a big deal now. So but we need that cool weather, and it's certainly not been as bad because it's been a dry summer for Georgia here. I really enjoyed the show till 3:30 a.m. I know. By the time the show was posted late on Monday night. And so for those of you that happen to notice or get in on it, well, you had the watching to yourself, except somehow by the next morning, we'll read on. I heard there was a lot more viewers getting in on some of the goods and others missing out. So many fine specimens to choose from. It was worth the trouble of getting it out there. Holidays seem to be the bugaboo that messes up your recent solid record of consistent shows. It is heartening to see your steady progress out of long COVID. Your enthusiasm over each specimen is palpable and contagious. And you had a long show to do just that. Going to watch again as I do my laundry today, this time all the way through to the trivia questions. Take care and see you next Monday, Miss Barbara. Mr. Anthony says, in Massachusetts, of course, he has graced us with his presence. We're glad to see him back, and hopefully we'll get to hear of some of his antics while he's been touring the world, it seems. Hello, all. Lots of great specimens. That's a great feeling, finding forgotten treasure. I think we've all had that experience, but you hit the mother lode, didn't I, though? Yeah, all that stuff and more in one batch. Some I remembered, others not so much. So, So those of you that got in on those items, lucky you, because as you know, almost every single thing I've had is, not a multiple. So I snagged the Finland Spectralite. I was wondering who was going to get that, and I was wondering who was going to fess up to whoever got that. And, appropriate for Mr. Anthony, who, of course, makes jewelry and also is a lapidary. So, great piece to work with, because it can be as simple as drilling a hole through the top of that, putting in a simple bail and cord, and you're good to go. That is stunning, that Spectralite, and it's double-sided, so you can get, I love that piece. I mentioned I purchased a small rhodochrosite slab in Italy, about 3 by 5 inches. In the world of rhodochrosite slabs, that is not small. Rhodochrosite chunks do come larger, but that's the Argentinian material when it's more massive. So even in the best of situations, 3 by 5 inches is considered big. Now, you can occasionally see those large ones, but many of them, and you often don't know it because they're sold kind of polished and as display items, decorative display items. But when you see those alternating bands of white and pink coloring, it happens along the white, but rhodochrosite is very friable, fragile, attach anywhere you want to it, but especially along the banding edges like that, it can easily just split. So the bigger of a piece you have, the thicker it needs to be cut, and still you can just have a separation between those banding lines. So to get it all the way through to a polished phase without having to have some what they call repair, some disclose it, others don't disclose it. If it's just a decorative item and, being sold as such, then many tourist kind of retail stores, like if you were in Argentina representing, that's like their national stone, then they won't represent it. But if you're in a serious type of lapidary shop buying it for the purposes of use in lapidary, then I would think that they would want to, or correctly, say if it's been repaired and glued together. So after haggling in my broken Italian and the shop owner's broken English, I paid only 21 pounds is all he paid for that. And no, that would be euros. Excuse me. Not much difference between that and the pound anymore. Which is, of course, euros. Last I looked, it was like $1.09. So basically, 21 euro is going to be, at the most $24, $25, which is an amazing deal. She thought it came from somewhere in South America. If that's correct, probably Argentina. Most likely, yes, Argentina, especially if it's that Inca rose is what they call it, if it's that classic Argentinian rhodochrosite color. So well done, because I don't know how thick it is, but it would have to be thick enough, again, for it to be cut as a slice, as a slab. That's a great price, especially having bought it in such a place as you did. So I couldn't. If I had one, no way I could sell it that inexpensive. I want to know what it looks like. Is it pretty? Send me a picture of it. Let's see. Just to rub it. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, here it comes. Just to rub it in a little, my itinerary in Europe was Croatia, where my daughter and her husband live. How cool is that? From there, we drove to Tuscany, meandered back to Croatia, then flew to Portugal. I love Portugal. Wasn't a rock hunting kind of situation that I went there for, but for the food and the wine and the olives and back to the wine. It was a great place. And seafood. To Portugal, then back to Croatia. Then we chartered a sailboat to the island of Corfu. Oh, that doesn't have any history. Corfu in Greece, then back to Croatia. It was quite an adventure. Yeah, rubbing it in there, Mr. Anthony. Unfortunately, no rock hunting. That's because you didn't have your eyes down. No, you had them probably staring through a bottle of vino and looking out over the beautiful horizon of the islands of Greece, even though underneath your feet were rocks of ancient history that you could probably be arrested for and hauled off for. They would call rocks a part of, some antiquity law, which you do have to be careful for, places like that. But I'm sure there's an inconspicuous rock where it's always just such an easy thing, and even something as mundane as what to them is a rock, nothing. But it's the memory. I associate just those little rocks. I write on them on the bag where they came from, and it'll trigger the memory. And it's a piece of the geology from a distant land that you'll may often, in most cases, never go back to. I don't know. Just, that's me. So I was called the nerd. Lots of good food, wine, and sightseeing. So on the trivia, let me get those questions out. Trivia question number 1 was, if hemimorphite is a zinc silicate, what mineral mentioned is the carbonate of zinc? Yep. So like I said, most of the elements, especially metallic elements and whatnot, will have a carbonate of themselves and a silicate of themselves. And I use the example of malachite. A carbonate could be, it would be the copper carbonate, and then the copper silicate. It would be would have been a great trivia question. Still would be. But I gave the answer away last weekend using it as an example. Dioptase. Maybe you'll see one today. So the answer being, well, you'll find that out in a moment. question number 2 was, name 3 locations mentioned and shown that sapphire was from. Answers being Tanzania, Madagascar, and Pakistan. And the carbonate of zinc is smithsonite. Smithsonite can often be confused with actually hemimorphite, and usually silicates and carbonates are often don't look alike, but in those 2 cases they can, including the unusual vibrant colors. Okay, so now let's get back to, that would be Mr. Anthony's answer. Getting smithsonite is a zinc carbonate, correct, and Tanzania, Pakistan, and Madagascar are 3 locations for sapphire. Very good that I had mentioned. Miss Cindy says, hello, Rock Family. Shawn, that show was magnificent, with lots of exclamation points. To pick a favorite from this show is near impossible. I was hoping that everyone would come away feeling that way, because that's the way it felt for me when I presented it. And I think you could feel the passion and the zeal when I was seeing it. It's like item after item of uniqueness and great pricing. I can assure you that. I literally would have bought every item, which amounted to, Cindy's funny. So I have my timekeeper in Miss Barbara, and I have my amount keeper in Miss Cindy. So she adds up probably each week, but she only mentions it to me occasionally when it's something else, either a lot or a little. And that's actually good to do at times, to find out how much you're sharing. But if I actually do that and run the numbers out, I don't want to know, because there wouldn't be any more of those 18 or 28 or $38 items, or 108 or 198. Yeah, we'd have to be in a whole another ball game. So I literally would have bought every item, which amounted to almost $5,000. The jade, mortar, and pestle. The Russian uvarovite and shuskite. Now that one is the treasure. We'll see if anyone got that. That Madagascar sapphire was wow, and the spectrolite another wow, not to mention every opal. I could go on. That's the way I felt about it. It was like, seeing it was like, wow, am I really off in all of these? Because at different times, they all held different places in my collection, and why I've had them for so long. Now, obviously, when you have that many pieces, unless you had, really expensive custom shelving built, or had plastic shelves up in your living room, you couldn't display everything. So it'd have to be kind of rotated out. And so some of these are in like, decade, 2-decade rotations, and they get forgotten. And some of these, to all of your benefit, because I would not be sharing these at a different other point in my life. No. I liked every single one of them. And we're having a discussion right now, the Raven and I, about what happened to our Scooterudite. We had a really nice one, and that I wanted to keep, and there's a blank spot where I thought it was, and she is, I think, fooling me. If anyone in the last 6 months, let's say, bought a, museum quality crystal-faced Scooterudite, let me know, because I think she's actually put it up thinking I was going to offer it for sale, and I don't intend to. I just want to still see it. You can't miss it. That is a specimen that even when dusty, it looks, really like it's constantly high-polished platinum. Beautiful, beautiful. And really rare. Big specimens like the one we have, really rare and expensive. So it wouldn't have been an inexpensive specimen at all. So anyway, let me know if someone got that. Miss Cindy goes on, thank you so much for the trivia contest prizes of Orongo Mountains, Namibian Aquamarine, and the Crabtree Mine, North Carolina Emerald in Matrix. Yes, I gave that away. I truly cannot state how wonderful it is to receive such treasures. That's so cool to say. Orongo Mountain region specimens are high on my desired locations. I have no specimens from the Crabtree Mine, but an emerald. Exactly. You now do. So exciting. Trivia, getting them all right. Everyone have a great week. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, where it is 50 degrees, and the air conditioning was just shut off yesterday. Crazy. I know. It is crazy. It's going to be cool here, even where I'm at, down to around 59 tonight.
That's
Miss Gabby. Miss Gabby says, heavens to Murgatroyd. I like that saying. What a show. By the time I got to watch Tuesday after it posting late Monday night, it already had 90 views, which explains why I only got 2 of the 8 or 9 items on my list. I don't like that. I wish I could satisfy everybody's wants and desires multiple times. Don't even remember having an item list that long in one show. Congrats to all that got my faves. LOL. I saved the pink quartz for someone else. Hard to beat the gorgeous one with the golden muscovite I got from you 4 years ago. I was wondering if you would add to your collection or not. If someone wants probably one of the best values there, it is pink quartz. Now, I don't call it rose quartz. It's just, among the trade, they try to create the pink quartz associated just with the quartz that actually is in crystalline form. Instead of the massive rose quartz that you always see that is opaque or translucent, but always kind of a milky type of color. And that's just the way it's always found. Pink quartz is just like regular, beautiful, crystallized, clear quartz, except pink, and very highly prized, very, very rare for that to occur. And I did sell one 4 years ago, and I remember it well. It was the better one of the ones that I had. And with that, like she said, the muscovite mica, that was outstanding. So, yeah, you're right. It would be tough to beat that one. But that one was also more money. And if anyone wants an amazing, amazing, super rare specimen, and if it's still available, get the crystallized pink quartz cluster. John also has owl medicine in his totem. I was mentioning, of course, my totem animal is an owl. I'll have to send you a pic sometime of the owl car we saw on our way to Tucson one year. Too funny. And, of course, I thought of you, but you weren't the one driving. Wow. I would give anything to have an owl car. That beats my hot dog car I always wanted. And, no, I could not have won the hot dog contest, but I could have eaten, I like hot dogs. Good quality hot dogs. An owl car, I'm even trying to picture what you'd be selling or why you would have that, and then how exactly that would fly, so to speak. But I sure would I want a picture of that. Let's see, trivia, Smith and I getting that right. The purple sapphire was from Madagascar, the pink Tanzania, and I wasn't paying enough attention to the graphics on the blue floater to know for sure the origin, and don't think it was quite fair to throw a country out there in case it's right. Oh, come on, everybody else does it. It's called the multiple guests, almost. That would have been Pakistan. Heading to the mountains of North Carolina for much cooler temps and a birthday celebration for John's brother. See y'all next week. Love, Miss Gabby, back at you there. All of our love and safe journeys to you, which by the time you're hearing this, you may still be up there, may not. Miss Elisa says in Florida, hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Wow, Professor, you had an amazing jaw-dropping specimens this week. My answer to this week's trivia is... She got them all right. My favorite item of the week, which was hard to narrow down to only one, was the Madagascar sapphire with biotite and garnets. And I think that is generally what a lot of people's favorite was. I love the large size of the sapphire, plus the color changes of purple to blue. And that's within the specimen. And while they call it, a lot of them are referred to as polychrome sapphires. Not counting the color changes that affect them with the difference in the wavelength of light, whether it be from the sun, fluorescent, or incandescent. So, cool stuff. A beautiful display of Mother Nature's talent. I hope you're enjoying some cooler weather and that you're able to get out there and find some gold with or without your tractor. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. Miss Alicia, you're right about that. I'm still bummed about the tractor thing. I want one back, but I can still do it. I brought up, expecting over the summer before I knew I got it. This is 4 years ago, 4+ years ago for it. hoping to do some indoor panning during the hot summer. So I have not gotten to that ore that came from that spot. So I can actually run, and ever since the flood, my basement's all nice and cleaned out. So I can start over, setting back up my big indoor sluice and my electric pumps on it. And remember my very cool water recycling system that if I had any smarts by now, I'd be sitting back on, rock hunting somewhere, because I would have patented my idea for this recirculating mobile sluice that can run on simply 40 gallons of water recirculating. And I'm not going to tell anyone, because someone else will do it. Then I'll be mad. Mr. Matt in Texas. Greetings to all. Good to hear from you, Mr. Matt in Texas. Plus, where's Charles in Oregon? Just a brief update. The Giger should be home soon. Yay! Because remember, we are all waiting on Mr. Matt, the former principal, who retired and who has jumped 2 feet forward, which I'm so proud of him, into fluorescent minerals and I didn't think anyone else would be even interested in collecting them, but he's doing it the right way. The R minerals, yes, the one with that very cool but always spooky and recognized as such symbol of alternating pie shapes. We won't go any further than that, but you could probably throw Chernobyl in there somewhere and get the idea of what kind of minerals, which I was just reading about some other interesting things because of that. Which is, that reaction is simply a man-made product of what nature can and does do on its own, except just using some other different naturally radioactive objects. The number of mineral specimens that are actually colored by nature's natural radiation, yes, it takes much longer, but you don't realize how extensive it is, including things such as ametrine, such as green zircon. These are all done, and the very elusive and rare naturally blue topaz, and the list is much longer. You just don't realize that, if you have something that forms near a naturally radioactive source, then of course it's going to affect it over time, especially time. So Matt has collected my best radioactive mineral specimens, and the 2 faceted econites I had. I only saved one small one left for posterity, I think. And that's pretty neat. I think that's really neat. And along with the fluorescent stuff, because really the two can go hand in hand oftentimes, and to learn about exactly what triggers what for light. And let me tell you before I forget, because I had to get these mineral specimens. I started growing the crystals. Yep, I started growing the crystal specimens. So I'm just doing a trial run here, and we're going to see how they turn out, and then go from there. But I'm going to bring all of you in on it when I get to a process. So what I'm first doing is I'm first growing seed crystals. And with those seed crystals, then I can advance it into showing you and teaching you. Also, one is I'm going to create a phosphorescent crystal that will continue to glow after the light source is removed. Anyway, let's see how I do on all that. So Matt has ordered this from the company that he saw mine was from, which, I definitely recommend. But it was taking him months to actually hand make it, which is pretty neat. And so it's supposed to be done soon. So anyway, getting all the answers right on the trivia, well done there. And then he says, prosit, Mr. Matt. All right, good job there, Matt, and you have to let us know when you get that. You're going to have so much fun. And literally, yes, it's a tool, very expensive, fancy tool, but, women have to understand that to a guy, we just kind of rearrange some of those letters and spell it a little differently, and tool becomes toy. You see that? It's one's a synonym of the other. Yeah. Tool and toy. They're one and the same, okay? You're going to have more fun with that thing. You're going to be, doing the dog. You're going to be checking turning off the lights at night and seeing what glows in the dark, and then seeing if it, the meter goes off. Miss Penny in Quebec. Hello, Shawn, the lovely Raven, amazing GSN crew and fellow rockhounds. I hope this finds everyone well. Getting everything right on the answers. It must have been too easy on those questions. Shawn, what spectacular specimens, and I think she beats everybody with the number of exclamation points. There has to be at least 10 there in big letters. You certainly made picking favorites this week extremely difficult. I love the sapphires, opals, aquas, hemimorphite, pyrite and quartz, pink quartz, labradorites. My favorites were the Madagascar purple sapphire. There we go again. The Madagascar purple sapphire and danburite. I appreciate you for appreciating that danburite. A lot of people can look at, oh, that's just looking scruffy. No, not under any kind of magnification. That's not scruffy. That is detail. Shawn, I will be sending some pictures of our trip. Oh, we have another one that's going to rub it in there. Our trip, so that you can share the amazing rock formations with the fellow rockhounds. I threw in a couple of grease from last year. My printer isn't working, and I had some technical issues, but I finally figured out how to send them out for printing. Once I receive them, I will send them to you. The photos are quite impressive, if I do say so myself. One of my dreams was to become a photographer, rock on, but that was absolutely, categorically, and vehemently, I like those adjectives, opposed, or is that an adverb? Opposed by my immigrant parents, especially my mother. That was one thing I was glad my mom with 6 kids. If any of us had, like my hobby, it was never shot down, or it was always encouraged, because you never know where it may lead. And where, for me, a little boy liking rocks, their only limitation they put on it, because they saw by the time I was 14 in that summer, put an ad in the paper down in Sarasota, Florida, saying, been to North Carolina, I don't even remember what it says. Did you find some rubies and sapphires you want cut and get your original stones back? In other words, not swap them out like they do up there. 1 week over the summer when I was 14, it was between 8th and 9th grade, I made $500. And you're talking about in 1975. And $500. And then for many other weeks that summer, I made anywhere from $200, $300, $400 a week cutting cabochones. And a lot of them were, if not almost all of them, were the salted Indian rubies. So I became an expert on cutting and getting the stars out of those stones. And by then, remember, I had taken a special course of lessons for cutting optical phenomenon stones from the same place I had originally started taking cutting lessons at 11. So, so once my parents saw it, I was like, well, maybe there is something to that hobby of his. And so then later, the only thing restriction they put, they said, okay, well, because I was National Honor Society and honor high school, apply to the colleges of your choice and at least just do that. And so it was a Colorado School of Mines, in Golden, Colorado, and the New Mexico School of Mines. And I was accepted to both, and that's where I left it. Later, of course, when I lived in Denver, I would drive by and see the student field trips going right out to the same geological formations in the creeks, and as a group, and seeing them. And I to this day, I still remember how I felt then. It's like, wow, I wish that was me. So I still wish I had that piece of paper, but as far as working knowledge and book knowledge, I'm probably further advanced than I would have been otherwise. But to not, for something that you want to do, and that kind of desire and zeal shouldn't ever be squashed. I think, you should let it, parents should let that run its course and see where it goes, and, let the child find their own little path, even albeit as maybe as something as stupid as wanting to collect rocks and try to make a living off of rocks and minerals. And here I sit before you, humbled as all by all of you, because if it weren't for you, there wouldn't be me here, and I really appreciate all that. So, a photographer, people make big money doing that. Back in the day, I used to develop my own black and white film and print my own black and white photos. I certainly miss that. So I compensate by taking hundreds of pictures and having photo albums printed. Enough rambling for this week. I wish everyone a wonderful week and hope to see you next week. Miss Penny from Quebec. And say hi to Mahali for us, going back to school again. And Miss Penny, you know, it's never too late. You can always, you know, you're still young, plenty young to follow that up. And black and white, I have, you know, I'm a nature nut in general, not just rocks and minerals. So I think I have most of his prints. John Muir, who took his pictures in black and white, and
It's up to
I have them in and all framed, and some stunning photography. And some of my favorite movies are the Alfred Hitchcock movies that are done, of course, in black and white. And I don't even like the colorized versions because he was able to capture all of that intensity in a film without a cuss word, without seeing blood and gore, without seeing, you know, blood and guts and all that. It was captured through lighting so a lot to be said. So anyway, my thing was, as a hobby to my hobby that had become my living, was actually taking nature photography. And I still have all my 35 millimeter gear, all my lenses and all those things. And I enjoyed that for a long time. I have boxes of pictures that I just never had done anything with, but it would have been cool to have categorized everything and had it into albums. So you enjoy that. And get into taking, what I find now so enjoyable is getting, you know, I want to make this point in general because the specimens we're getting ready to show you, it's apropos to. When you go and look up, let's say, a specimen for information, even going to MINDAT, and you'll see this incredible picture of this amazing crystal formation. And, you know, you wish and you long for it. It's like, oh, wow, I wish I could own something like that. Well, look at the size. Look at the actual size of the picture that you're seeing a picture of, an actual size of the specimen, excuse me. And then it'll bring it back into perspective. I have seen some of the most stunning mix of crystal specimens, longing to own a specimen like that. Then all of a sudden I see that the area they're taking a picture of is no more than like a centimeter, 10 millimeters. Even I saw one the other day, the entire distance across was 2 millimeters. Now granted, using special lenses to be able to do that type of photography, but what it did was it allowed me, I started looking in that really small field, and then under magnification, it made all my specimens, many of them, look like magazine cover type of quality, museum quality. Because we all have specimens with that kind of stunning beauty just in a little small area, because that's what is tucked away and that's what we can afford. If you actually were able to afford what looks like the size that the picture is, none of us could own any of this stuff. There's one I'm going to show you today. And I looked on it, and it said museum quality, and it said cabinet specimen. It was one similar, and I looked it up, and I actually looked at the size, and it was 2 inches long. And it was only as long as the one I am offering today. And it looked like so much a bigger deal. But it's all about the photography of it and taking, you know, exactly. So it's really important, just like you need to know your conversion of millimeters to grams and carats to grams, millimeters to inches, excuse me. Roughly, it's 25.4, but you can just think 25 in your head so you can convert that. And then the other thing, of course, is weights, 5 carats to a gram, so that you can do these conversions. And then the other important thing, of course, is, definitely ratio of the picture that you're looking at. Always look to see, just so you have in mind that no, you can't find big, spessartine crystals, glass clear that are that, 2 inches across. Not going to happen. It's all in the photography of it. So I'm going to get to some of those when I show you a few specimens later today. So, Miss Penny's comment was perfect in relationship to me wanting to talk to you about that exact subject, the photographs of mineral pictures. Miss Barbara, and by the way, Miss Penny, never rambling. Nope, none of us. We are all love to hear what everyone else has to say. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. Hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. 3.22 hours. I told you, she's the timekeeper. And almost all new merchandise. I thought it was all new. Definitely a show worth waiting for. Plenty of time for you to lovingly describe each and every item. Thank you, Johan and Latif, for starting early and making the time available. If you like those little Maine blueberries and have a Costco, which we do, try the frozen food section for Wyman's brand. Thank you. See? Everybody, information. Speaking about Antarctica reminds me that it used to be snuggled up against the continent of Africa along the Mozambique belt alongside Madagascar, the continent of India and Sri Lanka, all before they took off in different directions, plate tectonics. So Northwest Antarctica should be a mineral treasure trove once enough of the ice melts, like maybe a week from next Tuesday. That is so true. Yeah, we're going to have monster-sized icebergs breaking off and floating around the oceans like islands. Yeah, ice cubes in a drink. Okay, let's talk Tyndall and Rayleigh. Both have to do with suspended particle size relative to the wavelength of light. It's a new lighting effect I challenged her on. Tyndall effect would be a beam of light passing through fog, which are like particles, whereas Rayleigh scattering is why the sky looks blue due to relatively small particle size. Great explanation, very simple there. And somebody got the mimetite and wolfenite specimen, but I managed to snag the uvarovite. Well, that is a good one. Those others were too, but the uvarovite, because, well, she goes, nice size crystals they are, way larger than the regular size uvarovites you see that are druzy on the chromite. And on high contrast background, yep, the background was a much darker chromite. Sweet, I hope Brad got the sphere. That pink quartz is a rare find. As I said, nice stuff. You didn't mention, though, with the uvarovite was the schuskite. It's not found with anything else. So to have the uvarovite with the schuskite, that really made it special. As to the trivia, let's see. Zinc silicate hemimorphite is often mistaken for the zinc carbonate smithsonite, since they can look so much alike. As I mentioned earlier, the 3 sapphire locations you mentioned were Madagascar, Tanzania, and Pakistan. Enjoying the continuing but unusual fall-like weather and awaiting the return of morning chatter as our kids go back to school on 9/5. Boy, ours went back, well, it'll be a month later than yours, it seems. Now we will have to pay attention to those Amazon delivery notices since the little porch pirates will be out there by 3 p.m. Grrr. Miss Barbara, porch pirates, those little darlings take something off your porch, really?
It does.
The only thing that takes things off our porch are Teddy. Oh yeah, Teddy towed it off because it had rained just enough to leave big Teddy prints from mud, a little area of the mud that was right in front of the porch steps. So indistinguishable. And he had been up on our front porch. And I guess there was some leftover scent or something, because he toted off several items out into the front yard. I'm surprised he wasn't curled up somewhere there. I told Raven to make sure she just never opened the front door and just bolted out, because if she did, she could pin the way our porch is set up and corner Teddy if she didn't look first. Yeah. It's one of those stop, look, and listen things, you know. Take care. Oh, Miss Barbara from Brooklyn. Porch pirates, those little darlings. Okay, so we had a great show last week. We're going to have a great one this week, and I am going to announce the winner now. And let me see if I covered everything. Yeah, I was going to look into more about the Tyndall-Rayleigh effect because it was in relationship to a mineral specimen. So anyway, all right, here we have it. Ready, set. Since we have winners, when we have winners that are multiple winners like that, we assign a number to a name, and then I just have one of the guys say pick a number between 1 and so many, depending on how many people won, and then it comes out. But it is magical how it works. It seems like everyone wins fairly, and everybody wins the item that they should maybe get, want, need, love, have. And this week is, well, look at that. He comes right back and gets right back into the game, winning and lucky enough to get the Spectralite. And the winner of Mr. Anthony gets the, let's show this Trivia Envy prize. Look at that. Yep, I am giving that. And look at, it's not just another, something else to do something with. No, look at that. It is drilled, and I only showed you that one side. Look at that. Nah, gotcha. That other side would have been wonderful enough. Check this side out. Look at that. Now, this actually is not a break. It doesn't, see that? It doesn't even, you can't even see it come to the surface. So it's a wonderful piece. But you're so clever, if you wanted to, look at that. That would make a perfect 2 stones, one there, one there. And with it drilled, you can even work with that, or it's still plenty thick enough. So, being the lapidary that you are, here, look at that. It almost looks like a banded agate, but I like the way the cutter polished back away from that, revealing that. You have the ironstone. So, here is, look at that. A free, yep. Loco Shawn. Look at that. And I can't believe I did it out. Anyway, here we go. Lucky you, Mr. Anthony. All right, let me put that away. I'll be right back. All right, there is a lot more going on than meets the eye here. I just didn't know what other angle than this to set this up. So let me add a little bit of this wavelength of light into here gradually so that you can see everything that is cool about this. Okay, for one, there is more than one crystal termination. Let me show you that all the way around, all right? So then look at these oddly sparkly things, right? Look at that, another tourmaline right down there, snugged in there. But again, what are these little pearly things around it? Things, right? I mean, look at how pearlescent they are. That is what is so cool about this. And most of the time, they would be a lavender color. And if that would be the case, you'd be much more familiar with it as lepidolite. But in this case, it is still lepidolite. But let me show you. Let me get the pointer here. Let me show you how unusually this formed. If we look at this crystal close, you're going to see that it is encased. Okay, so part of the crystal has come apart here, all right? You can still see some of the casing. Look at it follow the crystal. So how did that happen? What took place? Did the tourmaline go first, then the lepidolite form over the top of it, then the quartz have to form over the top of that? Other than that, the tourmaline wouldn't grow smaller. There wouldn't be any room for the lepidolite to grow. You have to think about what is going on in that geologic pocket. And that's the only way I can figure out that this is, okay, think about how many different crystals I've seen. Perfect. So much better, thank you. For this to occur and me never to have seen it before, that is what I'm looking at. I have never seen this type of generational formation with the lepidolite in between. Now, lepidolite over the tourmaline, yes, that occurs, but then to have the whole quartz around it, that is so neat. All right, this you often see. It's some type of feldspar. You find it from Pakistani specimens to all over, California specimens and whatnot. And I don't know, most people just leave it there because you can't just use acid to get rid of it. All right, look at this. Okay, you have additional quartz crystals. You have additional lepidolite forming here. Then look at the bottom. Look how beautiful this is. And as we look at it closer, you're going to see that you have a little bit more of a pinkish kind of tint here. And then look at this. I think that is, yes, so that is, there we go. So there's our sheets of mica that tells us, yes, that is still a mica, and it's still lepidolite, a little bit more color tone to it. So that's cool. Bigger crystals of lepidolite. Here again, more lepidolite, and then look at that. Makes you really appreciate the tourmaline tucked away. The big crystals, and let me see, I think I had noticed one of them was doubly terminated. And the other thing is, you always look to see where it was attached in a pocket, or if it was what they call a floater. A floater is a crystal that formed without being attached to matrix or a side wall. And just like a crystal could form freely, a sugar crystal in a saturated solution of water without having to attach itself to anything. I'm going to show you that in my crystal experiments I'm working on for you. So you have, let's see, so see, here's a termination right here. So does it go to this crystal or this? So you have to kind of look at these things in the stages, how they would form. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And look at that classic, very valuable color in tourmaline, that mint green color. And you're going to love this because I have it priced for you at a deal. You know, all that work I go through, and then when I don't translate the price to it, makes me always sell it for less than I normally would. Only on this is only going to be $68. I don't know. I'll make it up as I go. $68 has to be a great deal for you. Okay, now, I don't know if I'm ready to show that. I don't know ready to show this either. I'm getting ready to show you, though, something that I have never, ever featured on my show before. Not only the specimen, but well, I'll go on. Okay, let's go. 1200 224. It'll be easier to say it that way. 1200 224. What I'm going to show you next, I have never had anything even close to it for sale, ever, showcasing this. Look at this native copper arborescent with that patina. The patina is the oxidation that you want to be on there. Now, on this side, you can even see, and there's a little bit more, when it oxidizes in the right environments, you're going to get the green patina that we often so associate with copper, right? Well, that is, in most cases, simply copper carbonate, malachite. Other times it can be other close to it minerals, but most of the time, as you can see, there's little areas of malachite that have formed. Now, in all the pictures of native copper there was, and I looked through all of them, from everywhere from the Keweenaw Peninsula of Michigan to the Arizona copper fields, every place, and there was not a single other formation like this. The only one was to where I had the information that this had come from, that it even was closely like it. And so this, they would call this a geological type formation. A lot of these, a crystalline formation. In other words, in some form, you can see where additional growths are on it. Now, you can see the copper parts. Let me show you where it's more evident. Along here, and it would be where your hand would touch it to hold it, down here. Over the years, or even the very tops of here, as you can see, of course, you know, it has to be touched. But this had been put up in a perky box for a long, long time and hadn't been touched. And so it allowed this really deep, dark patina to form, copper oxide to form on the surface of it. And that is desirable. Now, many of mineral dealers will actually remove that, and it's very easy to do, chemically and otherwise. But then you want to spend 100 years for it to form back? No. Much easier to whoever would buy it to at their choice. Now, granted, if you remove it, it's going to be that beautiful copper color. I think the balance of it being heavily coated with the patina on most of it, and yet a little of it not so much, showing you that it truly is copper is a perfect balance. And one side, of course, doesn't show much, almost shows nothing but patina. This arborescent formation, there was nothing else like it except from the Onganja mine. And it is that unique and rare. It is a formation that cannot be duplicated with wax. It can't be sand casted. It is only Mother Nature can replicate this. And then when, of course, you look at the additional little bubbles on it, the arborescent shape to it is exactly like you see other native coppers, but they will be Spinel law twinned crystals. There'll be tetrahexahedrals. There'll be some of the classic copper crystalline formations, but also they'll have these designations and they'll look somewhat crystalline, but in so many cases, the crystal, or especially, of course, copper and its softness, it'll be very out of form. In other words, there won't be sharp edges to it. It'll be very almost non-crystalline at all looking. And that's kind of what's going on with this. Just like when we see a botryoidal malachite, let's say, or a botryoidal goethite. Well, it's round and bubbly and doesn't look like an angular crystal that we think of, but the reality of it, that it is actually a crystal. That botryoidal formation is a crystal formation. Because if we cut it in two, we'd see all those fibrous lines in it that we know is and how malachite forms. And so this, let me put it in my hand just to show you the relative size of it. It's a really nice size. And again, this all goes back. I was looking at some of these copper specimens, overwhelmed by how big they were. Finally, I actually read one, and it said, now this is an overwhelmingly large size for where it was from. And I said, okay, how big is this? You know, what am I looking at here? And it was like 5 inches. And so, you know, to me, it was 2 or 3 feet would be, you know, large. No, that's not the case. So it's real important to make sure you get an idea of actually how large a specimen is, because when you see these prices on some of them, they're expensive as can be, and then that's okay, but you're expecting an 8-inch, 7-inch, 9-inch specimen, and the reality of it, it's 1.5 or 2 inches long. And that's important for you to know exactly what you're getting. So you have this wonderful, wonderful piece, and it deserves a better kind of stand than that particular type I have right there, because too much plastic. Or you can take one like that and custom cut away a whole bunch of other plastic around it. But the main thing is try not to touch it, because even the oils on your skin, the acids in your skin, you can alter the chemistry when it comes to something like native copper. Copper, remember, it's not like gold or platinum. It's not one of those noble metals that doesn't combine with many things. Copper combines with almost everything. So that's why you need to be careful on how you would even clean it, because you can either totally strip away the patina or make it all turn green, which you wouldn't want either. Price on this, it is a phenomenal opportunity for something as rare as it is. I'm offering that because I do not have another one of that one. So that jewel is only going to be $88, only $88 on that. So value indeed. Okay, now let me keep going here. Oh, fixed it. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Item number 119. Let's see here. 119-9624. 119-9624. Okay. all of you, and since we're showing copper, this is a good time to segue into this specimen, because if you are an Arizona mine collector and you have anything from the Ray mine or the Inspiration mine, there's a third mine in Arizona that you have to have a specimen from to complete your trifecta of notable mines of Arizona with amazing specimens. Look at this from the 79 mine. From the 79 mine. Look at this. It's going to take your eyes a little while to adjust to everything you're looking at here. This has been a special piece in times gone by. It is an old specimen I've had for a long time, just as I've had those other incredible specimens I've offered from the Miami Inspiration mine in Arizona and the Ray mine, which of course, both of those known for their incredible gem silica, as is what you are actually looking at here. The green, this is green quartz. And let me remove some of this so you can see that it doesn't affect, it's still green because it is very green. It is green, natural green. It's not like there's a green crystal underneath it and making it look green. No. What is underneath it is an iron hematite coated quartz crystal. You can see, we'll get to the other side in just a moment, you can see where these crystals are growing up the quartz. And that is what's underneath. So let me show you. By backlighting one of these, you can see the dark centers. Let me do this a better way. There's dark centers, of course, because of the iron stained quartz. You can see it in that one. You can see it, let's see here, depending on how thick the quartz is. There we go, that helps. There you go, you can see, let me get my pointer out. So you can see the dark line going right through the middle. You can see there's the dark, and we don't know how evenly coated the hematite crystal is, but it's obvious that the hematite didn't form. You can see where it goes below the line on that one, and you can see the darkness behind that one. You can see the darker tips there. Thank you, sir. Look at that. That's just beautiful. Okay, so what is doing all this? All right, well, let's look at this. Look at this. This is malachite. This is malachite. And malachite, of course, is a copper carbonate mineral. Here is a crystal that is split. Now, I tested it, and it is quartz. So, but look at that clear area. That, I don't know, that's, we'll get to that some other point. When we look at these green areas, they're fibrous. They have radial acicular little needles under higher magnification. Normally, you can see how green this is, they say that gem silica, the green, comes from copper, but copper ions bleeding out from chrysocolla. Never really been associated with the green of malachite. Now, this green, you're seeing the bright green, it's not being transmitted through the rest of the druzy, no. You're only seeing the green where it is, so it's not like it's bleeding out into it. Where is that green coming from, is what I ask. Well, let's just have another gander. Here we have malachite. You can see the bigger piece, and you can see from the end of it that it's radiomalachite. Let's just flip this over and see what we can see. Well, wouldn't you know, look at that baby blue to blue-green chrysocolla. There's your chrysocolla, right there. which that is what is known. And you can see the color of this chrysocolla matching very well with the color that is actually in the quartz. And that's where the copper is coming from. Let's further look at the malachite. Look at this beautiful malachite. Wow, what is that? Malachite blades. When I stare down, I see like a star in a shape of crystals. Let's take a little closer look and see what we can see. Wait, thanks. All right, so I can see that angle? That's where something was. Look over here. You see this? That is a termination of a crystal of some kind. And right off the bat, that does not look like a quartz crystal. I wonder what that could be. Now remember, pseudomorphs can occur easily in these copper mines. In other words, it could be chrysocolla replacing something else. You can see several of those crystals that look more dodecahedron type, which I did not fully explore what those can be. As we look along here now, the malachite, another just a nice specimen on its own, but let me show you that something you may not notice until I point it out, and that is the cerussite. Actually, look at this crystal. You can see the 6 sides to it. Here's another quartz crystal that has been covered up. Quartz, I say with a question mark, because that has an unusual termination there. Cerussite. So cerussite is the lead carbonate, and it is often found, again, look at that. Isn't that neat? So what had to occur was quartz had to form. Then the hematite, which we know from tangerine quartz and whatnot. So the hematite covered the quartz. Then came the another layer of quartz, the green copper stained quartz. And look at these are beautiful terminations, no damage to them. And it's always nice actually to have a crystal, and most crystal collectors would not ever agree with me there. And of course, I guess a perfect specimen with no damage at all is exactly that, perfect. But to see often what is exactly on the inside of a crystal past the hematite, and for actual coloration and other potential inclusions in it, is always educational when it does occur, and you do see that happen. All right, let's look. I'll help you out. Here we go. Cerussite crystals, the lead carbonate. Well, right here, that does not look like a quartz crystal. Not at all. And that is because it is not a quartz crystal. It is a cerussite crystal attached right there. Then, as we look further, once you start spotting them, then you can kind of see them. There's so much to look at here, though, that I don't know whether to look at it on the monitor or whether to look at it in person. Like, look at these. See, look at that. So there was a hexagon shape, and you don't know whether it's going inwards or whether it's a partial. Then there is down here, when you see that there is another cerussite crystal there, there is multiple small ones throughout. Okay, here, see these? When I see that, I can see clear through them, and that does not look like a quartz termination from above. So as we come into here, let me bring a little more light. If you look right into here, then you can see these are cerussite crystals. So you have to separate because they're clear. That's where a knowledge, or at least a primitive working knowledge of crystallography, really can help a lot in figuring out what is on your specimen, what is what. And so, you know, always look up the crystals, and it'll help you, even though there's many different habits. And until, that's why I said crystallography, there's 7 basic forms, but it's still tricky. Some of the basic things to know are important. You know, the quartzes, the calcites, the common ones. All right, so overall, what you look for in a beautiful specimen is aesthetics, and then also color contrast. So you have the dark green, you have the hematite here. Look at the natural green of the quartz itself. That is, by technically, it's silica. It's, you know, it's gem silica, and it's of such a unique rare from the 79 mine. That is the important thing. I don't think that made it into the graphics, but it is in the rest of the tag that you'll get, I believe. Yep, the 79 mine. That was one of the most, so the mine closed in 92, and that was in 1992. So along with the, of course, the Ray Mine and the Inspiration Mine, 2 of the best known collecting sites for Arizona copper specimens. The other one would have to be, I think, the 79 mine. There is a lot of amazing specimens that have come out from there that are totally different than the others. And for the combination of having these minerals, so listen, I don't think, let me see if I had all the room. We have quartz, we have hematite, we have malachite, we have cerussite, and chrysocolla. 5. Yep, there were 5 minerals on here. So 1, 2, 3. Yep, I have that. All 5 are made. Wow, how'd that happen? Into the graphics, and I can assure you that there's others. You just need to look at this specimen closer and closer, and it is so enjoyable. It is absolutely, look at that, a marvel to look at and to study. And a price on this, especially from that particular location, which of course it's closed, so any specimens out there, and that's why these estate pieces I have, and yeah, there is such a thing as estate when it comes to mineral specimens, because when the mine closes, the items had to have come out of that mine prior to, you know, often concreted the front of the mines, padlocked, shut down, and no longer. So everything available out there had to have been mined quite some time ago. So even as it is, 1992, 824, the minimum, that is, in age-wise, you're looking at is 32 years, but I can assure you it takes usually a couple, you know, so you're looking at a specimen that probably goes back 50 years. Price on this, exceptional value for a rare item, $128, only $128 on that. And that is a 79 mine, yep, a real one of a kind, only $128. Let me get through, okay, no, I'm going to treat you with some others before I get to some other longer pieces that'll take a little bit longer to talk about. Let's look at item 1201324. 1201-324. Nope, 1201-324. Don't know how to say that best. Okay, this, wow. These are old. These are old stock. I am going to show them to you. First, let me just move that out of the way. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. All right, so here they are. I am going to draw the curtain up on here. Boom. All right, so I have, that's the back side of them. There's the front side. Look at those colors, and look at the square cushion, the yellow, the reddish, whatever color you want to call the bottom left. Well, I tell you what, a collection of Tanzanian zircons, natural color. Natural color. Now, a lot of people don't realize that, sad to say, of course, the blue zircons, I think you know that, from Cambodia, and they have to be from Cambodia for them to be able to make them the color blue, just particularly what kind of other elements are in them. Most of the white zircons you see in the market are Tanzanian zircons that have been through a couple stage process of treatment to make them white. They start off a tan or the common tan or brownish color. Yep, it's unfortunate that that's the case. Used to be, no, but yeah, now that is. But at least they're natural stones. These are all natural color. Let me show you. Look at that yellow. I'm telling you what, except, you know, if it wasn't, of course, for the window now, on older cut diamonds, they actually windowed out also. You know, yeah, you could recut this one, and I would, if I was a cutter, probably have fun, recommend doing it. You would only have to recut probably the pavilion, making it a little smaller to give you the angle enough to do so. But look at that, you have the clarity to work with, and that is a canary color type of yellow. And remember, zircon has such a high dispersion, especially if it's a high zircon versus low zircon. Low zircon is like green zircon or the red zircons that are considered a low zircon. High zircons are a zircon that is like the blue zircons. And that, yep, there is two different types of zircons based on specific gravity, dispersion, refractive index, and whatnot. So when you get into this, you can see that it is actually has that higher dispersion, further looking like a natural yellow diamond. Look at this color. Look at that. That's a well-cut gem right there. That is, and I had, some of these were native cut, and I had some recut, and others, I left them as they were. Look at that. That square cushion shape. I love that. And it looking very much like one of the diamonds, the Australian diamonds that they were getting back, they would say brown orange or orange brown. They would have the word orange in the color descriptor, which of course made a huge difference. I sold so many diamonds when they were first in the market that would have, if I would have sent them off, would have graded out with a secondary color of yellow, orange, some others a really light green. Look at that. That was wiping that down. And then look at this one. This one I can see has, look at that. That's a pinkish orange type color, depending on the direction you look at it from. Ah, look at that. A little bit of zoning in there even. How fun is that? But again, still a high refractive index compared to the low zircon. So that's still a bright stone. And then look at this one. I love this one. When I was trying to get to 10 carats in the parcel, this made it just right. Look at that. I mean, that looks like a little yellow diamond. Really does. I got Latif here on camera, and he has cut his share of stones, so he knows about those things. And he goes, yeah, look at that. I mean, that does. So 5 stones. I know that Brad has been looking for some gems. I know others, and I have gems. I just don't always have the time to get them inventoried. And look at that. That's a beauty. So here, you want to hear an amazing deal I'm going to offer? I could have done these separately and gotten more if I'd done it that way, but no. Parcel it up, discount the price, give you a great deal on them, and I know it's a price that you can't not do any better than, so I always sleep well at night. But again, I can't replace them either, even coming close to the price. So anyway, this is a warmer upper. I have a few other zircons. This was a really, probably some of the best of all the way around of the mixed colors. I don't have any of the blues. No, you know, I like the word natural. So these are natural all the way through. Nothing wrong with those incredible blue zircons, though. I love them to death. But Mother Nature didn't do that. Just like the fake, not fake, but enhanced green zircons. Give me a cloudy metamix natural one any day because it's natural uranium in the earth that makes green zircons low zircons, where they have a lower specific gravity, a lower dispersion, lower refractive index, and that's okay by me. Now, Mr. Matt in Texas, one more thing, and this is, these could have been cornea pine, these could have been a lot of different things, and I could have checked them, but there was one really quick and easy check is all I needed to do to assure myself that these were zircons. I could do it on a one-on-one basis, or I just did it as a group, because the one thing about natural zircons, okay, let's get the Giger out. All right, we have, of course, the ambient natural radiation, and you've seen it before. It goes anywhere from 25, you see the CPM counts per minute, to 50, 60, anywhere in there. Now, you get, some of us walk by it, and maybe it goes off the chart. Some of us are a little bit more radioactive than others. Now, here's the zircons. As we move the zircons in closer, what does the Geiger counter want to say to us?
People.
And let's see if I can get the, here we go. So, as you can see, they are going to have a natural, and let's put these out here on the glass. So there we go. So not a lot, not like blue zircons, but nevertheless, and let me just bring these to the edge here. So you can see, and this is just alpha. So very, very safe. Low readings, well, I said that. One's decided to get a little more excited than the others. But you can see that, yes, they will test. Look at that. That's the way I should have displayed them. On the edge, like, it reminds me of the old days when we had them all along the edge and the turntable would spin and we'd have different gemstone with each. Okay, enough of the old days. All right, there you go. Anyway, here we go. The whole batch of them. I'll turn the whole batch is a incredible value, and I'm not going to be able to put together another parcel quite like this. I will have some other zircons, but probably anyway. Here we go. $118. I kid you not. That is less than $12 a carat. $118, less than $12 a carat. That is not a price that you can beat, because I already looked. I already looked at the least expensive places that they could ever be found, and it was way less expensive than anything anywhere else. All right, now let me show you something that only someone like me would have. Item 120-1124. 120-1124. Now, this is an opal. That's what I said. No, you're not going to see this anywhere, but this is an opal, but not your usual opal. Let me scrape these out of the way. Scrape, probably a bad word. This is a really stunner, and it is dendritic opal. It is dendritic opal, and now there's a difference, because opal, remember, is amorphous, and any other item that may look like this, whether it be chalcedony, quartz, or whatnot, it is going to be a cryptocrystalline material. In other words, it still will be crystallized under, very high magnification, hence the word cryptocrystalline. And opal doesn't have that type of building block formation to its molecules. And so you're able to tell, plus there's a difference in hardness and other ways. Now, this is from Western Australia, and there is a, I thought I had written down the particular mine, but you can just look it up because it's the only place in Western Australia. Oh yeah, it's a actual park, and I had the name of the town, and I don't have it in my notes. But anyway, you can't miss it if you just Google it, Western Australia dendritic opal, and it comes up, and you pay your money to and I've been in these little tiny Australian towns. I've been to Lightning Ridge, and it's nothing like the way we think things. It's so, well, I've heard it described best. It's like being in the Wild Wild West, except without guns. You really go back in time, and it's a very peaceful, safe time. Put it that way. So anyway, you pay your $5 to the county clerk, and then you get to go and fossick or noodle out where the this deposit is. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, long story, for not a lot of money on this. This is a rare caberstone I've had for a long time. Look at that. I was actually showing you the worser side, if there is such a thing. The dendrites are often just a type of oxide. And most of the time, it's a manganese oxide, and is what will form those dendrites. But look at that. So in an opal, so if you collect opal, this is one you won't have in your collection, yet it has every right to be in an opal collection. $18. $18. And if you think that is inexpensive, it's because that is inexpensive. It should be, of course, much more than that. But again, it's something it was a project stone I have had for a long time. And you know, it's just not one that I would get to by way of a project. But to sit in a case as part of my opal collection, oh, yeah, that was right where it belonged. Because it really completed an opal collection. If you are trying to collect opals and you do not have a you don't have the non-precious variety of opals, such as this, or like the hyalite that doesn't have the play of colors yet fluoresces due to a urinal oxides in it. So those are all great items to collect, and we'll spin that while I'm gabbing. And so a dendritic opal should be part of everybody's collection. And there's your chance right there. Too bad there's only one. We'll see how many people or who the lucky one is that gets it before anyone else. I'm getting ready to show you item 1201224. 1201-224. Now, this is awesome because, well, I actually, remember I was talking about the salted buckets and the Indian gems? Well, here is some of the ones I was talking about, because I actually panned some of these myself. Let me turn this off so I'm not chasing it. Throughout those summers in the Cowley Valley, intentionally going to the sites. Now, let me show you that had because I wanted to find something that had the salt. Now, as I got a little older and could cut, stones, I wanted to look for some of the more unusual native material. But until then, let me show you. Those of you that can cut stones are going to get a little lesson if you haven't worked with star stones before, and the rest of you're just going to get a lesson anyway. All right, let me show you real quick, because this isn't a lot of money, but it's certainly worth talking about. Indian sapphires. Now, technically, anything that's even slightly reddish is called ruby in Asia, and by anybody's means, this is absolutely a ruby. No matter what, this better not be a trapeche showing ruby, or you'll see me change my mind and go back on everything I've ever stood for. Hold on a minute. There is such a thing. Most of the trapeche corundums actually come from Kashmir, and they will have 6 the 6 type of rays in them, like the trapeze emeralds, and well, I'll just have to find that one in a minute. But you got to see it well enough. Let me show you the rest of them. Look at this. Now, when you see that, look at that perfect 6 sides. Here's what I wanted to show you. This is what you look for on the back if you're looking to see if a stone is going to star or not. You see those, you can see exactly the growth portions, like the phantom crystal growths, which is common in these type crystals. But what you're seeing as I move this is that chatoyant reflection. You can see that easily move across the face. So when you see those well-defined 6 sides to the crystal and that movement, that is when you would want to dome the top of this to see if it would star. And I can almost assure you that it will make and cut a star of some form, even known as for bronze stars. So you can see that kind of bronze color. That is one of the colors that you can find in these. Look at this larger one. Here's a larger corundum crystal or sapphire ruby, whichever way you want to call it. And again, look at those well-defined, and look at that bronzish color tone to it. And then let me see if you can see into this, and you can see the richness of the color to the piece actually. Awesome. Thank you. And let me do the same on this. And then let's see what we have. Look at that. Look at that. So you have and this is actually how you would do it, is in darkness with one light, and then you put the light, I won't do it because it will be too much of a glare, but you shine the light straight down on the crystal. Look at that. I mean, that is beautiful. You know what I've actually seen before, and thank you, sir. If that is what this does, is I have seen the zoning be such that it has been blue on the inside and red to the outside, which is almost what I see that doing. Isn't that Latif? Look darker on the inside and a little bit lighter. Yeah, look at that difference. And so that would be a really neat stone, and I want it back if it does that. Then look at this. Here is, all these were what? Oh, that has that same type of formation. All these were really well-formed crystals. So if nothing else, that's why it says a crystal parcel. And hold on, I'm just curious about this one. This looks like it is very translucent to me, or maybe it's, what is that color there? Yeah, so we have a pinkish purple looking, thank you, sir, looking color to that one. You never know until you just grind off the oxidation on the surface, but that one, again, potential. And the one that you saw at first, I'll add back to it when I find it here in a moment. All right, so anyway, a great parcel, not a lot of money, but certainly educational and a wonderful way to add to your collection. And if you're a cutter, then certainly a great way to learn and experiment on cutting star Indian rubies. The entire parcel at 34 carats, well, let's do this, $24. Yep, $24. You know, last show I made a lot of items. They were on average a lot more expensive, so I wanted to make sure I brought in some items in this show that were not, didn't hit that high mark. Let me show you item 120074. 120074. I have, oh, maybe I thought maybe I left the number. Let me see. Okay, 1200, sorry about that. 1200 724. Left a zero out. Take a look. You have that one? Okay.
I'm the growing force, so summit.
Sorry about that. I have next remember we talked about a floater? Well, this is considered a floater because there is no obvious place where it was attached to the matrix or to a sidewall. Look at this. A Namibian, and oftentimes you can tell the Namibians they have some of the best pseudomorphs. Remember how I talk about how malachite loves to body snatch the crystallography away from azurite and replace itself. And that is exactly what's doing. Because malachite can't form in the crystal system that azurite does. So what does it do? It slowly replaces itself in place of the azurite crystal. And that's what you're seeing going on in this piece. This is from the Sumed, the world famous Sumed mine, which is closed now. And that is what you're seeing, all these little green areas. And eventually, if it was left be, it would, there's entire crystals that are replaced with malachite. And it's always obvious because we know malachite doesn't form in crystals in this shape. So when you have a specimen, and the crystal looks like an azurite crystal, then you know what it's done. Look at these colors, the intensity of azurite. That's why it goes back 7,000, 8,000 years ago and used for everything from pigmentation to used for makeup and all kinds of things. Now, normally you might want to, and this is what's always important, loop before you clean. Looping meaning magnification, because your normal eye is going to see that as dirt, and you may just want to go straight over and scrub it. No. Under magnification, these are all crystals, and these white ones that you see these white ones? They are cerussite, the lead carbonate, and there's another elongated one right there, and then the tannish color ones. Well, I am thinking calcite, but I have a question mark there. I can't be 100% certain, so I'm going to leave some of the sleuthing to you all to figure that out. If you wanted, you could scrape every one of them off. They'll come off. I certainly wouldn't do the clear ones. I wouldn't do any of them. Leave it like it is. Look at these. So you have clear ones tucked away, but now here's another section. There's a bigger one of the cerussite. So they actually become a beautiful part of the mineral specimen. Look at this. Look at this. You see where there's no place that it looks like was broken off from a wall. Look at that. Look at that beautiful azurite crystal. So it's a floater. This floated freely in the pocket as the crystals form. Now, malachite and azurite are low temperature forming crystals. In other words, they don't need a lot of heat and pressure to form, and usually secondary mineral formation. And this one crystallized all the way around. And let me just see, if I put a bright light to the edge of these crystals, then you can really, you'll get a transparency to them on the edge. And you can see that. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Could you imagine a gemstone that color? Yeah, it'd be called Burma sapphire or something. Look at that. So all these are, for the most part, have a translucent nature to them, but you can only usually see it at the edges where it's thinner. Thank you, sir. That is important. Many azurites are so saturated that they're completely opaque. That's not the case in this. Look at it. There's almost a twist to the crystallization, like making a rosette. Oh, let's go in and take one close look at this process of body snatching here. Look at that. And then let me do this. Give you one little extra close-up look, because it's really cool how that's done. Look at that. You can see it starting along the edges, and the malachite will just slowly take over, replacing the azurite. And there's some of those other, see the yellow crystals? When you see them forming along edge lines and things, then you know there's a, see that there's a order to the madness of their placements. But look at that. Look at how those crystals are stacked on top of each other. Very cool. It's like looking at another planet. All right, so this, amazing, look at that in my hand. You get to see the actual size of it. This is a stunner. And from a mine that is not going to produce any more goodies. No, it did its share, believe me. The Sumed is probably one of the most top 5 premier mines in the world. And the number of specimens of different minerals that have been found coming out of there is extensive. It's huge. So price on this guy, how would you, someone like the opportunity at only $58, $158 would be a more reasonable sum. But at $58, that makes allows anyone to get into a high-end specimen that makes people go wow for not a lot of money. Speaking about wow, not a lot of money, wait till you see this. Oh yeah, okay. So let me make, this is such a funny number, these to read out to get these right. Okay, 1201024. 1201024. I just don't know how to say that right. All right. Let me show you. I used to offer incredible crystal specimens, the live show. When you hear me say that, referring to the live show, that's before the podcast. Okay, so here at Gem Shopping for 9 years, Raymond and I did the 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Monday night. You could count on us being there show for 9 years. And that's what I refer to as the live show. So we had, you know, lots of different items we sold over the many years. And then, of course, then we have the 7 years now doing the podcast. So when I say something I haven't shown since the live show, this next item is one of them. As soon as you see it, you're going to say, yeah, we haven't seen anything like that. But in the live show, I had incredible multi-crystalline crystal clusters of this next mineral that I offered and that all of you got in on. And for those of you that did, well done. This is all I have for you now, but it'll be a bargain. Look at this. Look at that. Talk about, look at the color. Yeah, it makes you want to squint your eyes. Now, you're going to see these sulfur crystals, a lot of them listed, and they're all from the wrong place. The guy didn't know which side of the border he was on when he first named the location where they were found, and he was actually overall 40 miles off. So what has become known as, I think it was the San Felipe sulfurs, are really from De La Silla, but both are from Baja California. Just remember, Baja California, a lot of people think, who are not geographically inclined, which is, I find many people must have skipped school during geography class, because, okay, Baja California is that long peninsula of land that juts down below California that has the huge bay in between. They're, you know, both belonging to Mexico. And there's a long body of water in between. Well, whale watching and is huge in that area, and fishing is huge in that area. And it's just a odd little piece of land that juts out for a long way down, and called the Baja California. But it has nothing to do with the state of California and everything to do with the country of Mexico. Look at this. Now, sulfur, hardness of 1.5 to 2. This is crystalline. It's not exactly a crystal, but it's hard to keep a sulfur crystal from being without having damage because of how soft it is. I've actually seen people facet this material, and it's kind of just funny. It's just for novelty, and you wouldn't certainly ever. It's just a novelty item because it's just so soft. But oftentimes the clarity does lend itself, if you wanted to faceting them. This overall, any of the crystals on the specimens I sold were never anything this large. They were always smaller, but they were nicer crystal shapes. Let me show you just how that glows. I mean, that's just, look at that. Could you imagine if they found a diamond? That would be beyond vivid. I have seen them, though, irradiated diamonds that were such a bright yellow, you knew they were a fake yellow. So this is a neat piece because it's large and it's not expensive. And you can add a new mineral to your collection. And believe me, if you smell it or smell your fingers after touching it, it is sulfur all the way. And you will have that very powerful odorous smell of sulfur on your fingers, as I do now. Price on it, $24. Only $24. And get it while you can. Now, let me move this out of the way.
Stuck.
Now.
All right.
Okay, and I will. Yeah, let's go with this. So we're covering some items here that price point for everybody. Item number 1200-324. 1200-324. And this is one of those small but mighty pieces. In other words, thumbnail kind of size, but it says a lot. Look at that. Look at that. So you can see relative to my hand how big that is. But boy, what a beautiful formation for the incredible crystal of sphene that is showing itself rising above the rest of the specimen. And these, you know, I got them years and years ago. And there's just, again, these deposits don't last. You know, they may be able to mine them for even a few years, but they all come to an end for the most part, unless it's tanzanite, then it seems to never end. But you just have to get them while they're available, because after that, remember, it is supply and demand, and the price always goes up. This has everything from mica on it. Now, you say, mica, where is mica? How can you tell mica from the clinochlor? Now, when I have clinochlor or chlorite, they're both substitutable, just like tenebrescence or reverse photochromism, both big words, but mean the same thing. Here you have the chlorite, which is also clinochlor. In this case, they're interchangeable. The chlorite family is very diverse and very complicated, so just leave it at that. The mica, that's what you need to be looking to separate from, so you know how to spot it. And there it is, right there is a blade of it, and you can see right there. And there is, look at that, another blade right up there. And then look at that sphene. Look at that great crystal form to it. Look at that. So with some of the clinochlor intergrowing with it. And then most always this is a matrix of feldspar. But very crystalline looking feldspar, isn't it? All right, so here. This is starter price for everybody, $21. Now, believe me, it should be a lot more than $21, but I just like to price it so that if someone wanted to add a sphene to their collection but didn't have the budget, even for the $50, $60 range, $70 range that I've offered a lot of these others before, this allows you to get a really nice sphene specimen for, of course, the price anymore of, you know, couple gallons of milk. I could not believe I had to buy. Never mind, that's another story. I don't like it when I go out and confirm that all the prices Raven has been telling me how much something costs food-wise, and then find out for it to be true. I'd rather only give her so much money and her come home and say, "What? Is that all you got for my $100?" All right, so opportunity right there on a cool specimen. Okay, let me put up a couple items, and I'll be right back. Look at this. Now, talking about the copper silicate, and we were dioptase. Yep, dioptase. Now, this is Namibian dioptase versus the other well-known type locality. By type locality, we mean where it was originally found, which is the Kazakhstan locality of Alten tubes. And a lot of people think always that it's the Sumed mine. See how we segued to another Sumed mine piece? I have a little planning going on here. This is very similar to the Kazakhstan, to the Alten tube dioptases, but there is a way you can tell without getting too fanciful in the geology of it, because some of them have the same type matrix. They're found with calcite, very similar, except for one major difference, and that is, what do you see? Now, believe me, the green you're seeing is not the actual green, and they even talk about that on Mindat, how difficult it is to take pictures of dioptase. It is always a brighter, greener Kelly green than what you see on your TV. So it can just know that it's always going to look better than it does now. Let me do that.
Yes.
So what you're seeing, though, in the green, the part that's important is the two different color greens. That is what tells you the difference, that this is not a Kazakhstan piece. You see this little lighter lime green, this greenish yellow green that you see everywhere, and you happen, the way you see it is along the edges of other of the minerals here. You see this, how it's forming along the edge of a lot of this? What is that? It is duftite. Duftite is another copper mineral. It's a, I think it's a lead copper arsenate, and it will be this limey green type of color. Now, this has stunning dioptase crystals, and one of the ways you can tell, you see that diamond shape pattern to the face of that crystal. Look how large that one is. That's actually a large crystal for dioptase. Look at the brighter greens, and as we come in as much as we can, you can see, thank you, look at that. You can see the more different little openings, the better it is, because dioptase has filled them all in. Now, this is a great way to show you what I was just talking about. Look at how the duftite is outlining all of these little pockets. And you can see that. It's along the outlining, the edge of them. Now, this is a goop, which, I don't like. And look at that. See how, almost like the lepidolite lined the quartz where the mint green tourmaline, that first specimen I showed you, formed. Except in this case, it formed only along the edges and not anywhere beyond the edges. Now, something else, I don't know if you've noticed, but look at this. You see this big brownish, copperish looking item? Look at that. Does it not look a little unusually squared off or more type of isometric looking? Mm-hmm. That's your cooperite. That is what massive cooperite often looks like. And when you feel this piece, you can actually feel the weight. It's a heavier feeling than what you would expect by just there being a silica type of matrix. So you have, this is how the cooperite looks in the Namibian material from the Sumed mine. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. What a color combination. Now, let's look at the, and remember that dioptase is never inexpensive. It is always a more valuable type of mineral. Let's go in and let's just look. There we go. I had a great spot right there. There we go. There's your duftite. An obvious color difference. So when you see that, just don't think, oh, that's just a different shade of dioptase. Dioptase is always within a narrow color range. Look at those crystals. And so immediately, of course, when I saw that, it's like, okay, that's another mineral. What mineral is it? And then, I mean, I was pretty much assured because I kind of knew where it was from. But when I did my checking, my fact checking, I realized that the Kazakhstan specimens did not have duftite to the extent of the Namibian ones. And that was the giveaway, along with then the cooperite. I'm showing you right now, trying to hold this in place. Let me see if I can get the tweezers. There we go. Look at that right there. Look at that crystal. Look at that cool, clear crystal right there. That is a beautiful crystal of calcite, and you're going to find more of those scattered quite abundantly, actually, covering up. You don't notice it, but it actually covers up a lot of the duftite when you get to looking at it at the right angles. But isn't that beautiful? As you scan over, it's like looking over surface of Mars or something for the first time. I mean, look, wow, look at down in there. Now that is interesting. That's almost a third color green, that little crystal down there, but I'm gonna write it off. I changed the angle and it looks more like dioptase. All right, so I could look at that like that all day long. That is when you get a specimen, you get your magnification, get your lighting, and you just spin it and look into all the crevices and everything, and you will, look at that bridge. That alone adds an aesthetic value to a specimen. And look, you turn it like this and it looks almost like a turtle. There's its head and its little feet. I mean, you know, doesn't it kind of, look at that. It's just a stunning specimen. And that's actually upside down than the way it was to be displayed, which right there looks really cool as well. Oh, man. All right. So anyway, I get to enjoy showing these items as like for the very first time. It's like I can never look at them enough. It is that kind of thrill when you have that kind of passion. And I do, to the detriment sometimes. Okay, I have this priced, again, this material goes for a lot of money, especially with the enhancements that it has. For one, being the Sumed mine. A lot of people like type localities, which would be the Kazakhstan piece. But if you already have one from there and want to add to your collection, this one, especially with the very visible amount of duftite with it, and the big cooperite, which actually, right there at that angle, boy, that's kind of obvious. Look at that right angles that you see, the two corners right there. you have, and then you can see the right angles on that specimen as well. So you definitely have, even if they're a little primitive, you definitely have some cuprite crystallization going on there. I don't know. I guess it's going to be such a bargain. $98, only $98 on that, and there won't be. Well, that's a really good value. I just know there's only going to be the one, and other people are going to want. And I wish I had more than one. Okay, let me show you. Oh wow, 12,024. How did that happen? 12,024. That must be a magical number for a special piece. And yes, because this goes back 100 million years.
Thanks.
So what's 12,000, right? Look at this jewel. Oh my, and I do not have a chance to offer you guys many of these. Look at that. Now, this still may be the Cleonoceras variety of ammonite.
It's on your finger.
Oh?
It matches.
Oh my gosh, Awesome. Only you would notice that. Oh my God. I've been trying not to hide that. So, you are so right. I had to think about a minute what Austin was talking about. I'm sure you probably heard him on the mic. He said, "Do you have one of those on your hand?" And I'm thinking, what, ring? I have no ammonite ring. Look at that. It is absolutely perfect, including the center. Look at that, my blood blister. Oh my God. That cracks me up. Wow, that is pretty cool, though. I gotta admit, good spotting job. I take you rock hunting. I don't know where to go from there. That's got me cracked up. Now I'm real self-conscious.
Back down in that spot, Bob.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about the type of ammonite on my finger, and when we came across this fossil. That's the way. And so this fossil is 100 million years old. The one on my finger probably not much younger. So, yeah. Wow. And no, you can't. It's not a. You don't get two for the price of one. I'm not cutting my finger off. Oh. I tell you what, I have lost my delivery now.
Lose 20.
The rarest color in ammonites, including the Canadian ones, are the blue and purple colors. That being due to the thickness of the aragonite, which is what the shell becomes. So layers of aragonite do the lighting diffraction and give you the light. Now, the red colors and orange and yellows, the more common colors, they're created by thicker layers of the shell, okay? That's what produces those colors, and why you see them so much more prevalently, because they survive, because they're thicker. The blue and purple colors are the rare colors, and they are rare because it takes it's a thinner amount of material to create those colors for the diffraction grating for those colors to come out. And because it needs to be thin, well, they don't survive the pressure that these are found under with all the ground that piles on top of them over the years as they fossilize. So that's why even in this piece, to have any blue or purple is a bonus. Look at the beautiful reds. Now, here is the specimen, and we often see them when they're split down the middle. That's where you can get the open chambers. This one may well have open chambers, but it is whole and polished, so we don't know. Look at this. Look at these colors. See the yellows and orange? This is what I'm talking about. Now, it's these blues and purples that, again, even in this piece, represents really the difference in the rarity, because you have a lot more reds and yellows, but that is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. Now, these are the Madagascar ones, which really don't produce the gem grade ammonite like the Canadian ones and are mined for. but still the process of the coloring is the same, and why you get one color is more rare than the other. So that explanation works for this material or the material in Canada. This, look at this. This has been cleaned out. A lot of times you can find secondary fossils in here, but in this material. But the full swirl, that's why this was cleaned out, because the entire swirl has been replicated. Because as they aged, they added on this way. And of course, the little tentacles came out from here. They were in a size range anywhere from smaller than a dime was full-grown size species up to 6 feet in diameter. So many species of ammonites roamed the different layers of the water, which is where they would hang out depending on their food sources. And they had a siphuncle that goes through the middle all the way through the swirls that controlled, was like the bladder in a fish. It controlled the buoyancy and where they would be able to hang out at what level in the water that they were. This one can be either sawed in two if you want, but it's been polished all the way around. Best maybe to leave it like it is, but I don't know. Curiosity often does get to everyone. You can still have the polished sides, just take a saw blade down the middle. This seems to be a little fatter, so I don't know if it's still a Cleonoceras. It may be a little different species, but no matter what it is, look at this. Is actually a nice large specimen, and I came across this, so I thought, I think I will just offer that, make it a good deal for somebody. And with that said, I couldn't get it to stand up, of course. No, you can't get something that's circular, Shawn, to sit up on. So, how about this? I have this, maybe I have it.
It's,
Here we go. Now, price-wise, $28. There, $28. That is a can't go wrong price. Can't go wrong price. All right, get moving, Shawn. Item number 12,624. Now, I tell you what, as bad as I need new teeth, I might swap the end of my finger if someone wants to buy my other ammonite on my end of my finger there. You know what? I don't even think $12,000 would buy my teeth. I can't believe how much I should have been a dentist, Then I could have made money. Yeah, I know. I should have done something useful in my life. Would have been to be one of those nasty lawyers or a car mechanic. That would have been something useful. Loving rocks, maybe parents are right. I'm going to show you something that is going to rock all of your world. It is something I have not offered in a long time. And you know what? It is something, one of the most desired gems in the world. 12,624. This gets a label of fragile that goes with it because it is a rhodochrosite cluster. I kid you not. Look at this. Peruvian orange red rhodochrosite. When we look at this and drill down, as they say, on it, you're going to see some of the most incredible crystal formations. This is, look at this, starting off, hey, look at that. Termination. A doubly terminated quartz crystal. Look at how this one rhodochrosite crystal seems like it's growing right out of it or into it. Look at this, how the quartz has grown around this one. And this is where, when the crystal has cleaved off of itself, like it appears here, is when it becomes really cool to be able to see inside the crystal, to know that what you're looking at, the color, isn't just a surface color, that the color goes all the way through. And this is a unique color from the Uchuchacua mine in Peru, which is known to produce the finest South American rhodochrosites, arguably so. Look at this. Look at these. Okay, so that's one crystal. Let's get to looking at these others. Now, Rhodochrosite forms in the trigonal crystal system, same as quartz. So basically, what that will give you is a six-sided crystal when you're looking straight down on it. Let's look at all these. Look at all these. These are, and as something as fragile as rhodochrosite, there are many, many wonderfully full, perfect terminated crystals that you see here. Look at this. Okay, here's one. If we can look straight down on that, you can see the six sides to the crystal. And now, where did that guy go? It was, there it is. Okay, there's the six-sided to the crystal. The difference is the center of symmetry is dead in the middle of the crystal, whereas we know with quartz, the termination is often off to the side. In other words, the complete termination. So when we look at this crystal right there, straight down, you see a perfect six sides. But when you see the final face to the termination, it is equal. It is the same all the way around. So that's one way you could tell that it would not be a quartz and would be something other than. Look at this. Another one has, as we look at these are beautiful. There are many different habits to different crystals, and rhodochrosite is one as well. So it can look like a blocky parallelogram, or it can look like a scalenahedral type of crystal point. The Sweet Home mine rhodochrosites are more of the habit of the rhombohedral type of look, whereas the South African ones and the Peruvian ones, they like to the termination likes to come to a point. Now, let me show you this particular quartz crystal right here. As we look at this one as close as we can. Thank you. Can you do the macro thing? You can see how they are, they've grown within each other here as well, which is really unique for quartz and rhodochrosite, for the two of them, because the rhodochrosite forms at such a different temperature and environment that the quartz will form in. So there is, look at how large this crystal looks like. It could, yeah. Look at that. It extends. Wow, I didn't notice this one before. Let me see if I can turn this light off, this light on, and if we can, there we go, extend light up into the crystal. Look at that. Look at that color. I mean, not that you ever want to, but if you could get a faceted stone out of there, rhodochrosite always is a huge demand. Thank you, sir. Most expensive one I ever sold, I cut that one and I sold it for around $1,000 a carat. It was around a 12-carat stone. And it should have sold for more than that. That was a really great value. It was here at Gem Shopping some time ago. All right, now, let's see. Yeah, come in all the way, because there is some very unique terminations, and where one crystal intersects another. And
Make sure the microscope.
where?
A little microscope, a little thing.
Yeah, I know. You want to search it with my, let me try this. Let's take a look, and let's go down. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Look at these. So this is a habit, in other words, a form of rhodochrosite that you don't often see. You're used to seeing the Sweet Home mine formations, not the ones that come to a pointed termination. That's what makes this really different. Also, look at those cubes. It looks like there is some calcite maybe involved. And at this mine, look it down in there, there is a lot of different minerals that have been discovered. So there's opportunities for there to be some really unique other minerals hiding in other places on this. There is also, there was something that I saw. Look at the pink. And yeah, it will also change color with the direction that you view it. Rhodochrosite is very dichroic in that way. So I can see pink colors at that angle. There's one of the larger crystals right there. And then, oh yeah, look at that. You can see where the crystal has had formed another one right in there. So you have the skeletal remnants of where it had laid. There is one here. I think this quartz one is a really odd one because there is some unique formations on the surface that, see those dots? I don't know what has created those. Yeah, I haven't seen it before. I couldn't scrape them off. There's some type of mineral formation. It made me wonder, and because I couldn't see in it, if there is potential for an anhydro, for water formation, which, yeah, there's always a potential. Look at these. Look at these. These are just such well-terminated rhodochrosite points. That's what I wanted to show you, because it would be easy just to see some of the ones that have been broken off in either the pocket, especially when they grow tall enough that they start hitting the upper side of the vein, is what can happen there. But in this piece, there is so many perfect, look at them, perfectly formed crystals that have absolutely no damage. I see another little tiny unique one there. There's also some bisecting ones that are really unique. And this is, okay, right there, the white crystal right in the middle. What is that one? It looks doubly terminated. It would be odd for it to be quartz, but it could be. It could also be cerussite, which is the lead carbonate. It definitely looks like something I have missed the label on. And that's the kind of items that, you know, I didn't see that before. Until you go around and around and around on this over and over, you won't. Let's look at the back. All right, no, this is something. This is really good, actually. You have all kinds of chrysocolla, I mean, not chrysocolla, you have all kinds of, I was thinking about the back of that other piece, of other rhodochrosites here, and you can see where some other crystals had been. And this, if you wanted to practice specimen preparation, you could remove and peel back some of that other material. Wow, look at that. Look at that. You see how some are, you know, even the pinkish color, if you like, some are bicolor. It is a stunning piece. There was something else I wanted to show you on this, and I'm forgetting where or what it was, but no matter, it doesn't matter. It was just something really cool. So I'm going to leave it to all of you, or the lucky person, to get this. I don't have another one. Nope, this is the only one, and I have it at a extremely affordable opportunity. It's only $128. And in the world of rhodochrosite of that quality, only is truly that. Only. That is a bargain. An amazing bargain. Now, I'm going to show you an oldie but goodie. This one had been put up from a long time ago. Let me see if you have the item information there, Asif. Item 715717.
Lisa Morasta.
Yes, excellent. Excellent.
All for route.
Can you work with it? Okay, great. I have to type it in myself as well. Okay. Let's see. Well. All right, everybody, wait till you see this. I have had this next specimen put up, and it's really one of the nicest I had of its kind. Take a look at this. This is when the blue barites first were on the market, and I squirreled this one away, and it is remarkable because so many of these had so much limonite on them that it affected a lot of the crystals. Or just seeing what look was the best. This doesn't. This has these crystals, and then look at that, a twinned crystal of barite. Let me show you the difference. Here you have a single, and then this is like the selenite. This is appears to be a twinned barite crystal, and barite is heavy. Barite is a very heavy mineral, and this reflects it. You can really feel the weight. This has very little limonite on it, and classic shapes for your barites. Look at that. Just classic shape for barite. The blue barites, when they came out, were really rare. Look at the color blue. The bottom of this, I don't think I even turned this over before. Wow. Wow. These were a really unique item when they were first introduced into the marketplace about 10, 11 years ago. They first had said that they were from a place called Sid Lawson in Morocco, and the reality is it's Jebel with chain. So that's, or we chain, however they might say that. But I have that information for you on that. Look at that. Look at this. Look at how well defined these crystals are. Look at the beautiful, beautiful blue and the clarity to them. This is a sculpturally and aesthetically one of the prettiest. And look at the size of that. So that's a small cabinet. Good angle? Yeah.
Bird head.
It does. It does. Oh, I see that. It does. Here's the. I know. I was trying to show the bird head. So here's the head, right?
You can't see it. Genius.
I do see it though. Isn't this the beak down here? Yeah. And these are the wings.
The crown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crown.
It is. It is, and it's like in flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that even looks like the eye right there. Yeah, in flight. An eye right there. See what we do down here? That's what we do. We assign creatures, just like looking at clouds, to mineral specimens. We've seen some really good ones.
You're talking to myself because you're seeing it as light coming down.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But the head, look at the beak from at the bottom.
Oh.
At the beak at the bottom of the back.
Oh.
Full head.
I see.
And a little way hard that you see the bird.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the whole thing. And
I see.
part is like a crown.
Like a cockatoo would have.
And the beak is actually on the, like touching the black.
Gotcha. I do.
You see the back of the net as the main foreground. See it,
I see that.
right? It's like you're looking from behind it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it's like a chief of something, right? Like it's a chief bird.
And birds like Quetzalcoatl. I mean, that was like, a bird snake person. I mean, they were signed at such high levels in so many societies. So,
And within it, I totally see what you saw.
yep,
Like in
right.
but that's a winged bird that has the wing broken. And
Either way, yep.
that.
The things that you can see in minerals when you,
How they're actually broken in the world now.
yeah. A symbol for the world.
You looking marble and marble wall.
Mm-hmm.
They're
the age of emergency.
Marble walls are amazing. I love the way marble even forms, and you know, there's that huge marble mountain right in Jasper that I've been to and brought back huge 50-pound marble chunks, and they're in our yard, and I love it. And it's bright white. I pressure washed them the other day, and they are just so white. It's beautiful stuff. Anyway, price on this is an outstanding opportunity. I have it sale priced only $68. $68. It should be in that kind of quality with those well-shaped crystals, well beyond that. I'm getting ready to show everyone one of the rarest items you'll ever see. This is item number, goodness gracious. Okay, how many times have you heard me talk about Awi? Awi was a very famous mineralogist. Item number 12,524. 12,524. Now, you fluorescent lovers, you rare crystal lovers, all of you out there, look at this. This may be the finest one you'll ever see. It is really museum quality. It is world class at the least, and it is stunning in all of its glory. This is from Afghanistan, in the same area that the lapis lazuli has been found for thousands of years. It is Alween. It is Alween. Now, at one point, it was called Alween Night, but that was back in a long time ago, only for a small period of time, and it was named that, and that's why it stuck for a period of time, and why you still may hear the word Alween Night used. But it was because James Dana, who was a super famous mineralogist, had called it that for a period of time. But Alween was named for the abbey, and in honor of, in 1807, so that's how far back this actually goes, in honor of Abbey Awi, who was considered the father of crystallography. He actually made models out of wood that were much in demand of the different crystal systems. Now, all of lapis lazuli, which is actually a rock, remember? So it's made up of calcite, pyrite, and then lazurite. But chemically, it has always been determined that for something to be lazurite, it needs to, and I know this is going to get a little chemical sounding to you, but it's something that you have to understand. For it to be lazurite, it has to, for one thing, not fluoresce, okay? And it has to be sulfide rich. Well, no lazurite has ever found to be sulfide dominant. All basically lapis that we see is actually a sulfide rich Alween. And they're actually changing that. It's going to take forever for the common person is never going to think of it as anything to do with Awi. Lapis lazuli is going to stick forever. But that's the difference. So the main way to tell whether it is lazurite, which has to be sulfide dominant, the difference is Alween will fluoresce and lazurite won't. Now I'm going to try one more time because you fluorescent collectors and lovers out there, this is one your eyes will pop out of your head for fluorescence. This specimen, these blue crystals turn an orange, so orange that you don't see any blue whatsoever. So, help me out there. Let me turn this on and let's see. Okay, see, with your eye you can see the orange, can't you? But see how on TV we don't, do we?
So live on.
That's it. Yeah, let me put the light on, and then let's see if I can even bring out any orange from any corner of this. Wow, that is so odd. because it is as orange as the eye could see, and still. So we still keep trying to bring you the fluorescence. Let me try one other light.
Black light, no.
Yeah, that's what I just put on it, was my black light.
Black light is.
Let me try one other. Let me try. No, this is a problem we've always had. It's never, and this is such a bright orange right now. It is nothing but orange you should be seeing. Okay, we tried. Yeah, let's try it. Here, let me show you with the human eye. Okay. All right.
I'll see orange.
Wait.
I see purple.
You see?
I don't see that color.
Wait, hang
I
on.
don't see that color at all, though.
Wait a second. Let me here. Let me show you. Look, get in close. You see the orange? Look at all the orange on this.
I see way too much green. I mean, the camera doesn't look like that.
Now look on the specimen.
Ooh, this one. Or
Look at all. Look, see all the orange?
I see orange.
Right. But not on the TV.
I see completely different color right there.
Well, there's
Oh,
actually
yeah. I see completely what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a completely different color.
completely different color.
But on
Completely.
the TV, it just looks like a
I know.
brighter, same
Isn't
color.
that, look at that. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. When I come up close to it,
Yeah.
I don't see it from back here though. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Yeah. From this angle, I don't see it. When I come up right here,
Yeah.
from your angle,
It's all orange.
it's orange.
Orange. That's the fluorescence. And then look at
Wow, that's weird.
Isn't that wild?
From afar, it's still the same color.
Yeah. And then let me show you one other thing. Here's how you can tell it's lapis. Let me show you. See this bright blue line? Look at that. It's not orange at all. That's the lazurite. You see that blue line? But
Yeah,
yet,
that just looks
but,
purple.
But then come up here.
Oh, I see it. I see it on the
That
lines.
was yellow.
On the lines, I see it.
Right, exactly.
On
See
the
the
lines,
line?
yeah, on
That,
the lines
that's the
it
difference. That's a ween, and that is lazurite.
Ah, on the lines it
Yep.
changes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And
I
then
see
that
on the
straight.
specs it changes.
Then that
you can't
dark
see it
blue
on
line.
camera because you're
No.
covering it.
Yeah.
But you do.
All right. So now I can explain to everybody what I just showed. Asif was, see this straight blue line? Look at the difference in darkness. That is lazurite. That did not fluoresce. But you see these lighter blue lines?
all the small ones.
all these smaller lines, they all fluoresced a bright orange.
Oh, so
but
the
this
blue
darker
is-
blue.
that did
Yep.
not.
Nope. Correct.
You're
and
right.
So, yep.
This did.
Yep.
That did.
Perfect. That's perfect. And witnessed by Asif right there. And as we come out, let's show this top line here. This line right there, bright orange. This line, which you can see the difference in color, but still, it would be close enough you wouldn't know the difference.
again.
Yep.
Do that again.
Yep. This line.
Just keep your camera right there, but don't cover the camera. Don't cover
Okay.
the camera. Right there.
Okay. Here.
Hold on,
Should I
go.
Yeah. You hold it. Should I turn this light off?
Okay, so that's
That should be orange.
there. You go. Turn it off. Yeah, turn that off. Oh my God, that is.
Isn't that something? And then look at that. See? Look at that.
And then here,
Yeah.
oh my God, that doesn't change.
Isn't that crazy?
But everything around it changes.
Yes.
Everything around it
Yes.
changes.
And then come to one more
Hold
spot.
on, right here.
Yep.
Most of it doesn't. It's like little specks on
Right,
trees.
all those little blue specks. And then now come down here. Look, I know, look at that.
Oh.
I know. This is yellow, this whole area.
That
Look at that. But
out.
that is flogopite mica.
right there. Okay.
That's another mineral altogether.
That's like, now zoom into that. Zoom into that.
See?
Iris down.
Why
Zoom
can't-
into that and iris down.
Yeah.
Zoom in as far as you can.
That's
Zoom in as far as you can. No, you can go. There you go. All right, that's good. All right.
Look at that.
Where the light is, tilt up. Tilt up right there. Iris down. Iris down.
Can't catch it.
Yes, you can. All the
Just a little
bright
bit.
spots right there, all the bright spots are orange. They are completely.
To the eye,
Completely.
Yes.
Okay, so hold this right here.
stunning bright orange.
Hold this right there.
Stunning bright
Right
orange.
there, where the light is. So right there.
Look at that.
That is all orange.
Isn't that crazy? Look, and then once you get away,
then
no,
that's
and
not.
then, right, nope, nope,
That isn't.
nope. Wow. No.
You see that, right?
Isn't that wild?
Where it actually.
Now, when I show people, this isn't even blue. This is flogopite mica. So this
You
is,
see the imprint. You see the.
yeah,
Imprint.
you can actually see the crystals. They're the shape of the crystals. Yep.
You
Yep.
see the imprint.
That's the shape of the crystals.
yeah, you can't tell on camera.
I'm glad you got to see it. So, and everyone got here, so I'm not crazy. So you guys don't think I'm crazy.
You're still crazy.
Okay, I'll accept that. All right. So,
It's something.
isn't that nuts?
No, that's. Oh, I can see it. I can see it right there. No, I can see it on camera.
Yeah.
No,
There.
now arch down some more, put a bit more.
If I go down, it's gonna go that way.
Arch down some more.
It's gonna go away.
Right there, you can see it on camera.
Yeah, you can faintly see it. You can.
Keep going down, keep going down. Right there.
If we could ever figure out the secret,
Right there, you see the orange.
yeah, you can see a little orange, but not like it is.
Zoom in up, move it, and you'll see it. Move it. Oh, we got it. Now move it down, move it around so you can see where it is. All the
But nothing like the human
I
eye.
can see it. You move it around. Like,
Where the hell are you guys seeing that orange? I just saw it on the top a little, yeah. But nothing like the human eye saw it.
oh my God.
No.
We got it though. We can see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's lab. Look with it.
That's the whole thing.
So
The camera that
this is a fluorescent lover's dream. You can actually, let me actually show you, because you can
now.
actually see separate crystals in here. Let me see if I can get the third finger here. All right, because when you can see these outlines of these crystals, this is what we're looking at. And whoever is lucky enough to get this specimen will be able to see. All right, we're going to show the big item now. All right, here we go. All right, what we were just looking at is an area right in here. Now, you see these? This is what I outlined. This isn't anything to do with blue at all. This is phlogopite mica that is underneath the surface of this. Or the way it was sawed in two, the angle of the crystals was such that it made it like that. Either that or it's calcite. One of the two will fluoresce that bright yellow. All these blue places will fluoresce pinkish to pinkish orange. And as we come up, you can see the little pyrites around. This line is the lazurite. It is the tell. It is the item you want to know the difference. Here's the two. This one fluoresces bright orange. That is aween. This one is your lazurite. There is lazurite right along here. You can tell the difference in the color. But anything of this other blue, that is your aween, which fluoresces a bright orange. That is your money stone. Look at these crystals. This, remember, I have sold those little aweens that were a couple points each for big money. These are actually facet grade crystals of aween. And look at how large they are. This is one of the most dynamic specimens I've ever had. I've had it for a number of years. It is extremely rare and collectible. These crystals are gigantic for what it is. And the orange fluorescence is just one of the fluorescents. All of these, bright orange to where you don't even see blue. No kidding. Now, there is a white fluorescence and a blue fluorescence. The orange can be aween or the calcite. The yellow is phlogopite or calcite. And then there's a white and a blue fluorescence. It is forsterite. So there is forsterite, which is another mineral altogether, magnesium silicate. Its family, believe it or not, is actually peridot, to give you a rough idea. These crystals are stunning and rare. And for them to be facet grade quality, that's why you only find those little couple point size stones when they facet them. Look at that. Look at the clarity in those. I mean, it is the color of some of the finest sapphires. Look at up here. As I catch the edge of these crystals, you can see the transparency to these. Look at that. Look at that. Aween, hardness of 5.5 to 6. This piece is huge. It's cabinet size, quality, and it was one I always intended to take a picture of and actually put it in Mindat and submit it as a specimen because they had nothing that came close to this piece. And that is the way you can tell the difference in whether it is lazurite or aween. So you also have the phlogopite in this that you can study on. And So we won't get into the difference between sulfates and sulfides right now, but that is the difference in whether it's lazurite or whether it's technically alwine. Basically, all lapis that you see has no lazurite as it was thought to be. It's all a sulfide dominant alwine. The difference. Now, what a lot of people, Hackmanite belongs to the sodalite family. It's a sulfide sodalite, and that's the one that has the reverse photochromism and tenebrescence. And related, it and tugtapite are the two that have that neat property of tenebrescence. We'll get into that another day when I have one, but the Hackmanite I used to have a lot of fun with because it was so fluorescent. I had faceted pieces of it. So this piece, I have it for only $248. It is a museum quality item, and that is priced at a fraction of what it should be, especially since it has the both, and the difference of fluorescence well defines the two and separates the two within the own specimen. So you don't have to have fancy tests done like so many others do. It's easy with simple fluorescence. Look at the difference in the color. You can tell that as well. I want to get to a couple items before my time runs out. I only have a couple minutes with you, so let me get to those. That specimen is a giveaway at $248. You saw us, even Asif in on it, all having fun and all being blown away by the difference of fluorescence. On the back here, it's amazing. It's amazing. This whole area, the fluorescence, but you don't see that unless you're using that black light. And then the difference of this blue line against that blue line. Education for all. That's why some of the smartest people here are the director of production I have right here with me, Asif, and the manager of production, Latif, on camera, getting this education that we wish a lot of it should trickle down, we wish it could, to other presenters here at Gem Shopping. This is what's cool, interactive. This is interactive. The rest, yeah, Asif said it best. I won't quote you on that one, Asif, but you said it best. I won't hold the production director to that word. But put it this way, they can stay a lot more awake watching this show than any other. Item number 1224. This is Mother Nature. You go from that blue to this golden barrel yellow. Here's your education in life. This is where Mother Earth starts. Everything comes after, and everything is touched by man's hands after. Not this. This is the way it came out of the ground. You have some shoral crystals there. This is a item 424. This is like no other. If the lucky person that got the Crabtree Mine Golden Barrel I offered before, this would be a great specimen to add to a golden barrel collection, or those Russian golden barrels. Add this to your collection. This is from the General Mines, Minas Gerais in Brazil, and you see a little bit of the shoral. This is a stunning specimen, stunning. And it is, you can see the complete termination. It's basically doubly terminated here and here. So except for this little missing piece, this would have been a floater. There's no other connecting point here. And with those crystals growing there, you know then this is the termination. This is the termination, meaning the actual end of the crystal. How did it grow? It floated around in the stuff on its own. And so that one only $77, and that is a true only opportunity. All right, this will have to be our last item. It's $11.99, $8.24. Too much fun. Hold on, wait, one more after this one. I'll show this one quick. Hold on. This is a, I had to make its own little carrying pack, and this is what I do for y'all. Look at that. Okay, so I made that own little carrying pack just to get everything to you in one piece. You know what a great job our shipping department does. Oh yeah, look at this. Okay, Miss Gabby, I know you have one of the other ones to this one. This is the one with the tourmaline crystal growing out of it. This is a stunning etched morganite. This actually has a light pink color tone to it that you may not be able to see, but it does. This would have been a whole morganite, but hydrothermal solutions came through and dissolved portions of it away. You can still see that reflection of the crystal form, but the rest being etched. These are extremely collectible and valuable. It's from the Urticum claim in Brazil, and this one I have it priced affordably so that Miss Gabby can add to her collection, or that other one, the other peach colored one. Price on this, only $88. Part of it, of course, it doesn't have that tourmaline crystal growing out of it like the one she does, but that one is not disappointing. This next one.
Morganite is 100% hydro.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful morganite, actual.
Probably. You keep it back.
I do. Look how fragile it is.
Oh my. Look at that to me.
I know, and it was a beautiful crystal. Imagine being so hot, this hydrothermal solution coming through the geologic pocket, that it ate it away. It etched it away. But you can still see that reflection on the same plane when it does that. That's how you can tell, right there. That's how you can tell that it was of a crystalline form at one time. And yeah, imagine that flowing over you. But that actually is a whitish, a pinkish color, and really a collector's item. And boy, we could probably find some things to see in this, couldn't we? We could make some serious shapes. I see a dragon just then. Okay, here, hold on. I got to get in. This item, this I had mentioned, this is item number, oh my, item number 124. One of the rarest and yet most deadly specimens we're going to show here, and has nothing to do with radioactivity. How about this? I saved it to last so it wouldn't be on my hands. Orpiment. Take a look at that. This is world-class orpiment. Peruvian orpiment. Orpiment is arsenic sulfide. It's one of the primary ores for arsenic, along with real gar, and what a specimen it is.
Oh, that.
Look at this. Look at the pyrite. Look at the pyrite here. Latif took out the door as soon as I said arsenic. As long as it's locked up molecularly, we're okay, but I still need to wash my hands after touching it. Orpiment is from the name oro. It's a Greek word, gold, and the rest of it is like gold pigment.
So what?
Well, I'm touching the outsides. The gold pigment.
Not well.
Yeah, I know. It is almost pure arsenic except for the sulfide part. So,
Rub your little.
no, you want to bump me off. Look, hey, get over here. I need some camera work. Got it.
Rub the ammonite on it.
Rub the ammonite on it. Oh my God. My finger. Oh my God, my finger. Oh my God. Watch it. If it starts going tentacles.
Touch it.
Look at this.
Don't touch it.
I know, you're right. I shouldn't. Look down in there. Look down in there. Trying to get my show in. Look at those little microcrystals. Those are beautiful. It is orpiment because it's oro for gold, and it's a Greek thing, and Penny would know. But look at this. So look at these beautiful fibers along the edges like this, and it's heavy. Then you have the pyrite. It's got a heavy specific gravity. You have pyrite here, and they're actually, wow, looks like even some gypsum then, which I didn't pick up on that. Look at this. This has sphalerite, which is your zinc ore. You have your sphalerite right here. There is so much going on with this. Oh, look at this side. Look at this side. So you have barite. There is so many minerals here, I didn't have time to figure it all out. There is barite on here, and let me see my notes on this. Which could be a lot more than they were, because this is a jewel. This is a rare specimen, and with the pyrite all over only adds to it. Look at these crystals. Look at those. Look at those. Wow. And in the little pockets, and then with the pyrite, sprinkled all around, and then look at these other crystals. That's something I don't think I identified. The whitish crystals are the barite, some barites on here. Oh yes, when you go in really close, we don't have time to do it right now. Yeah, hold on. But there's little platelets. Hold on, there's little platelets, and that's the barite that you need to know is there. Let's see if we can find any for you real quick. Because, yeah, there they are. There's some white platelets right there. Oh, there's quartz crystals also. Hold on. This is such an exciting piece.
What's the point?
A motherboard, you're right, it really does. Look at that. Those are little quartz crystals right there. Oh, yes, I did have notes on this. There was another mineral card called enargite. Enargite, I had shown that before to all of you. And hold on, here it is. Here's my notes. And bornonite. That's another. That's going to be one of the pinkish. No. That's one of the dark. See these dark black crystals, right in there. There you have, and you're also your dark blackish gray crystals are going to be your enargite, and bornonite, and you'll be able to separate the two. Look them up, and then you'll be able to figure it out. Figure out these others that look like a potential spinel, and there is a lot more work for you to do. Can't look at that. Look at that orpiment. Can't do it all. There we go. See, there's the black crystals. There's going to be also sphalerite in there, and so much more for you to find. This is outstanding. This form. Yeah, believe me. Oh, here, wait. This is what I want to show. Thank you for one last moment. This is what I want to show you. Here it is. Here's the perfect barite crystals. There we go. Look at how well formed those crystals are. Look at that. Those are the perfect form, beautiful white barite crystals lining that edge. That is remarkable specimen. Price on this one, and then is only, oh my, that isn't only $138. Wow, $138 on that. And what can I say? Where are you going to find another one for an opportunity like that? Okay, unfortunately, let me just make sure. Yeah, we'll just have to save everything for another show. All right, I'll be right back in a moment with the trivia. We were having so much fun. Thank you to the guys for sticking around another minute, because I forgot it was in front of me. It was one of the number 1 items I wanted to show you, and I saved it until last, and I lost out of time. Here we have it. Check this out. World class. Look at that wolfenite. This is a amazing, from the Almuda Eruption mine. Why are there 2 names to that? Well, the mine's closed altogether. From the 500-foot level to the 700-foot level, it was called the Ahumada mine. From the ground level to 500 feet deep, it was owned at another time. That's where it was called the Eruption mine. The difference is from the 500-foot level to the 700-foot level, that's where the wolfenites were found. The best were actually found after the 700-foot level to the 800-foot level, but it got flooded out. It got flooded out to where they couldn't get the best wolfenites. The mine's closed. It's over with. Everything you see in the market now is old stock, including this piece. This is extremely rare. Let's go in close. I'm going to show you the mimetites so you can find everything yourself. You see all these little green looking, they almost look like a bug. Look at, see, they have like a darker head to them. They are mimetites. We went over last week exactly the composition of mimetite. Those are the green ones, and they are all over it as you look at it. The wolfenites, this is world renowned. You can see they have these sandwich colors where you can see the growth layers. You have the darker color on the interior, the lighter color, very desirable. Now, let me show you one of the most rare colors and unique formations are all these little, they look like florets on top. Let's look at them. Look at that. Those are all a secondary growth of wolfenite. Secondary growth of wolfenite, a little bit different color on top of, right now, you're seeing those on top of cerussite. The lead carbonate, yes, they are sitting on top of cerussites. You can see mimetites below them. there we go. There is that sandwich wolfenite. Now remember, wolfenite is a lead molybdenate. You see those colors? It looks like a sandwich with the darker color in the middle. Very desirable. And then all these little green green crystals, and they even have a darker green tip to them, almost like a little worm, like the inchworms do. Yeah, the inchworms. Look at these. Look at these colors. Let me just show you the whole specimen because it is outstanding all the way around. Look at this. There is everything to explore. You have in all these other small crystals, microcrystals, of everything from mimetite to wolfenite to, there's, you name it, calcite, cerusites. Look at this. Look at this dark mass. That is goethite. You have a batch of goethite there. Then, look at these. See these? Look at the condition. That's what's important. These wolfenites have no dings on them. And to real crystal junkies, dings and nicks on crystals are everything. It's so important. Now, here's one other thing. There's a fluorescence to the calcite, an orange fluorescence. And the way you can tell is with a black light, you'll find pockets of calcites, and then in other areas, it will be quartz and it won't be fluorescent, or it'll be cerussite. You can see the different crystal shape to these compared to these, which are the cerussites up here. Look at, along this entire ridge, there's cerussites growing, and on top of them, the secondary growth of wolfenite that has formed on them versus this. Geologically, this particular specimen happened in many different stages. And look at that. Look, okay, here. This is especially collectible. You have a double sandwich. That's a Dagwood. You have the bread, the meat, the bread, the meat, or other way, yeah, and then the bread. Look at that. A triple layer. That is really actually quite rare, and the first time I've ever seen that in a specimen. All right, and then that. Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap up the show. I'm gonna leave the rest to all of you to explore. This is a world-class, extremely desirable specimen. If you missed out on the one last week, this one easily makes up for it. The mimetite, oh, by the way, the mimetite does fluoresce. It is a deep red-orange fluorescence. The calcite will be pink. And the mimetite is also a lead arsenate. Sorry about that, Latif. And forms in little hexagonal crystals in this particular specimen. This is a true collectible piece because it is from the Ahumada part of the mine. And stunning. All right, so, and from the Los Lamentos Mountains is where it forms. And of course that name is because there's vertical cracks in the rock at the summit. When the wind blows through it, it creates a sound of lamentations. So hence the name Los Lamentos. Wolfenite, named for Franz von Wolfen in 1845, an Austrian mineralogist. Price on this item is a outstanding world-class piece for only, wow, I don't know. Okay, make it only $288. $288. Last item of the show. We'll be right back with the trivia. Okay, I have to thank the guys for sticking around. They've got another shoot, and I need to go. So I just am glad we got in what we did, especially that last item, which I'd been saving. So anyway, let's get to those two questions, and then I got a mess to clean up and clear out of here. But I told you it was going to be another amazing show like we just did, and I think I did not let you down. Have a lot more for you for next week as well. Question number one. What is another name for golden beryl? And no, I didn't necessarily say it in this show. We showed that golden beryl. Have it right here because I didn't have time to wrap anything up. You should know, though, by now that there's the original word that was associated with golden beryl. It was actually a little bit different color. I've showed those other different color crystals before under this other name. But in the case of this particular color, I used the more commonly used color of golden beryl. So what was the original old or other name for golden beryl? Question number 2. Aween fluoresces orange. That's a very good way to determine what a specimen is. When it's in confusion in a bigger specimen like we showed you. If it does not fluoresce, what is the name of the mineral that can be confused with aween but doesn't fluoresce? And that is the primary way, as we demonstrated and proved to you, the difference between the two. Aween fluoresces. This other mineral, very similar looking to it, often confused with it. As a matter of fact, almost always confused with it. And I'll even tell you, because it is, of course, a great way and why your lapis doesn't fluoresce. It's because of this other mineral isn't fluorescent. What is that other mineral? Okay, so that should be easy enough. I thank you. I thank you for all your support. I'm glad that you loved last week's show, and I hope that you do your part for this week's show. Went through a lot of work, a lot of studying to get all these different minerals right for you. And I know that you appreciate it from your kind comments, and I can't help but to thank the guys enough to allow the time and the opportunity to bring you another fantastic show that none of us had to use the restroom. Like and subscribe. We are up to 10,600 subscribers now. It's averaging out about 100 new a month. I'll take that. For Rocks and Mineral Show, you got it. God bless all of you. I hope you had a great holiday, and hope cool weather still stays with you. Or you, those of you out west, good luck. 100 days in Phoenix of over 100 degrees every day. No, raisin comes to mind. I love you all. Thank you all so much. See you next Monday. Cheers.